Bing bang boom ski. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. We are on, son. Hey guys, how you going? So today on BK Sport, we're going to be here just kind of chilling out. I'm going to be chilling out here talking about the Australian lineup that has already been announced, obviously. Plus also, we'll just be chatting away for however long we feel like. It's just a Wednesday night here, man. So I thought there's nothing on. We may as well just kick back and have a chat about what's happening in 3 days' time. Literally, we are 3 days away from the Rugby League World Cup starting. I am so excited. I am so pumped for it. Obviously, we're going to be streaming literally every single game live here on the channel. So the first game, Samoa, England, on Saturday night here for us in Queensland, but it'll be early Sunday morning for you guys in Muppetville and also overseas. But yeah, it should be a really good weekend. Australia play Fiji as well on Sunday morning at 4:30 in the morning my time, 5:30 Muppet time, 6:30 Fiji time, and 7:30 I believe in New Zealand time. But yeah, no, it's going to be a huge month or so. I've actually delayed my Fiji trip a little bit, so I'm not going to be going this week now. I'll be here when these games are on, rocking and rolling. But yeah, today we're going to go through the Australian lineup. We're going to talk a little bit about these numbers and the issues surrounding, whatever the shit this Rugby League World Cup is doing. I hear that it's not just Australia doing it. I hear that it is everyone doing it, which is just silly and stupid, but we'll get into that. And then obviously we'll talk to you guys about whatever teams that are here in the chat and want to be spoken about. But guys, we are less than 100 subscribers away now from 20,000. Less than 100 away. We are absolutely flying right now. So hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here, and let's see what you guys say in the chat before we do get into the team lineup, son. Somebody says, who let the dogs out? I have no idea what that's meaning. Timmy Carter says, yo, hello Timmy Carter, how you doing? Someone says, no, my membership expired. Yeah, we got it sorted out. Freddy Brown says, what is NRL doing with the World Cup? What do you mean, what is NRL doing with the World Cup? The NRL has nothing to do with the World Cup. I don't think people realise this. People are always kind of think that the NRL is the World Cup. The NRL has nothing to do with the World Cup. The NRL is just a domestic competition that is the peak of the domestic competition, but it's just a domestic competition. The NRL has literally nothing to do with the World Cup at all. Dasmate says, Mal just wanted to give Queenslander their 7 jersey. Well, obviously, like I said, we'll go through it in a second, but the thing is, man, is they've said that they're going to rest all the Panthers players, the grand finalists for week 1. That's why you can't see Regan Campbell-Gillard there either. But with that being said, it's a bit weird because it was 2 weeks ago, and Cleary's only played, 2 games in the last month? Like, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. He's played, 2 games the last month. You don't need to be resting Cleary at all. It is just, I guess, a little bit of an excuse there, to be honest with you. As Sports says, hi, Blaze. Hello, mate. Tavita, getting around him. The numbers thing is dumb. Get why something email says, hey, Mr. Streamer, so close to 20k. Yes, very close. Zampire says, the NRL has no legal basis or standing with the Rugby League World Cup. Yeah, absolutely not. The Rugby League World Cup has absolutely nothing to do with the NRL, and there's just nothing. It's nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing to do with it, man. Which is weird, considering that people obviously continuously look at the NRL and think, oh, why do this, do that? It's like they've got nothing to do with it. Brighton Robertson says 20k, very close. Tommy, get around him, member for 9 months. Appreciate you, dude. Thank you very much. Your club is in the shit right now. Manly Seagulls, you are having a mare at the moment with the old Desi Hasler. Trebojevic brothers, boy oh boy, you guys are having a bit of a situation, aren't you? Somebody says the NRL is its own competition. Yes. Freddy Brown says, oh shit, I thought it was the NRL setting it up. No. Effectively, if anything, this would be the Super League setting it up because this is in England. This isn't even in Australia. As Sports says, this number shit thing is just bald crap. It's mind blowing. Seriously, this number no NRL. Well, it's not that bad. It's bad, and I'm not a big fan of it at all. But it's just. It makes no sense. And it makes no sense for the casual fans. And I don't really give a shit about the explanation that they've given us because it doesn't make any sense. It's like, okay, let's go through the lineup here. So yeah, Tedesco gets number 1. That's cool. And then you look at the wings. It's meant to be 2 and 5, but it's 9 and 23 here, as you can see. At least Val Holmes got his position with the number 4, but technically he's actually playing as the 3 here. And Latrell Mitchell is the other centre, which would normally be, obviously, the 4, but cool. Then you go to the halves here, Cameron Munster. Why is he 7? He's the 5'8", number 6, obviously. Cherry Evans, he's usually the 7, but he's playing wing, obviously, here with the number 2 jersey. And we've got Jay Trebojevic in the wing, too. How good is that? Alongside Tino Fast from Malawi, who is the 18th man. He's already been added in off the 18th man. Ben Hunt playing in centre there. with Angus Crichton playing off the bench, and Jeremiah Nanai actually well and truly down the pecking order in number 22. Cameron Murray is the back row today. Then you got Jack Whiten playing as a front row forward off the bench there. Paddy Carrigan, he's 13 off the bench. Ruben Cotter, he's, that's actually his position. 14, 15, 16. Look at us go. Ruben Cotter's actually got his position there. And then Harry Grant, the big-time hooker, he's going to be the extended bench there. Look, how stupid does this look? It just looks ridiculous. Whoever thought of this idea, you are stupid. Like, they're just... The reason why I say this, we're meant to be trying to get casuals into the game, and with World Cups, right, it's good for us to watch so we can have, like, an ultimate win and whatnot. Cool. But realistically, World Cups are actually to bring in new audiences and bring in a brand new audience who's going to support the game, who have watched the peak of the competition and be like, I actually like that. Now I'm going to go watch the actual league. This isn't going to help because it's not understandable to anyone. Everyone will be like, what's the number 9 mean? What does that mean? He's a winger, okay. But then when they see other teams maybe have 2 and they'll be like, well, he was a 9, he's a 2, why is that? It's going to confuse the shit out of casuals. At least we know it, but that's because we know the players. That's the frustrating thing about this situation. But yeah, there you go. That's just my thoughts. Tommy says, Manly 7 knows what it's like to be in the shit. Yep, you do. You do. Tommy says, I find it hilarious and nonsensical for that Hagen guy, whatever the assistant Ruse coach name is, to come up with that jersey numbers fiasco from what I heard. I don't know, man. It's just ridiculous. And I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Latrell wearing 8, that's something else. We got 72 who says, still fun seeing Latrell a prop and Adokar hooker. No, it's not fun really. It really is stupid. It just is dumb. It just is dumb. Timmy Carr says, why the hell have they done this? Because they're Muppets. Jasper says, Mitchell playing prop. Well, let's go through the actual team lineup here, guys. So we're going to go through the team lineup and I'll give you my thoughts on it. So obviously James Tedesco is the fullback with Adokar and Murray Taulagi on the wing. So I'm actually quite intrigued that they've put Murray Taulagi there. I get it. Obviously he would have gone and probably, I think, Samoa if it wasn't for... the fact that they were going to play him, so he's on the wing there. I was thinking that Val Holmes was going to go to the wing and then Jack Whiten was going to the centres, or Matt Burton, but obviously that wasn't the case. So Murray Taulagi goes to the wing, and you got Val Holmes and Latrell Mitchell into the centres. Very good centre pairing there. That's the best back line of the competition for me. That's the best back line of the competition by a country mile. Obviously, the Kiwis have the best forwards in the competition, but that back line is incredible. Cameron Munster in the 5'8", with Daly Cherry Evans in the 7. Now, obviously, most people want Cleary to be there. He more than likely will be there, but Cherry Evans getting first crack. Secondly, he wants to rest the Panthers players. But I will also say that Mal is also going to use this as an excuse to play Cherry so that you guys can see how good he actually is. It is a really good... It's a good way to use an excuse, man. It is. Cherry Evans gets his last World Cup here. You might see Mal playing for the majority of the time. I'm just throwing it out there. Because Mal will know that Cleary will play later on in the next World Cup in 3 years' time. Forwards, obviously front row, Jake Chaboyevich from Manly. They're going through the shit right now, Manly. With Tina Fasu Malawi, they're on the up here. The Gold Coast Titans get around them. And then Ben Hunt, the number 9 starting hooker there. Angus Crichton, Jeremiah Nanai into the back row. Like I said to you guys, Nanai does not come off the bench, so that is the only way to have Nanai in the team is to start him, and that's exactly what they've done there. And then Cameron Murray is in the lock position. You'd probably see, normally, Cameron Murray would be back row with Angus Crichton, and then you'd see Isaiah Yeo here. Like I said, the Panthers boys are being rested. You got Jack White 14, but you've also got Harry Grant there, so they've got actually 2 utilities, which is quite strange. They've gone with the 2 utilities there in Jack Whiten and Harry Grant. Paddy Carrigan and Ruben Cotter onto the bench there, front row forward, and a lock / back row / forward. You can chuck Carrigan really realistically anywhere. But look, it's a good bench. It's just interesting they've gone with the 2 utilities. And then you go to Matty Burton and Campbell Graham in the 18th and 19th man reserves. At least Campbell Graham is the 19th man with the number 19 there. But yeah, look, it's a good team. It's a good team, and it's definitely going to be beating Fiji, that's for sure. But it's just realistically, the question marks that I have is, 1, I still think Jack Whiten should have gone in centres and Val Holmes should have gone to the wing. And 2, your numbers, they suck. Blah, blah, blah. So PNG and Samoa can upset England and Tonga. They will put them on the Australia-New Zealand side of the quarterfinals. If PNG and Samoa can upset England and Tonga, they will put them on the Australia and New Zealand side of the quarterfinals. No, what? No, so Group A and D are on the same level, and Group B and C are on the same level. There's no switching. Doesn't matter who wins. No matter what, these teams will play these teams. The teams in Group A and B will play each other. Sorry, A and D will play each other, and the teams in Group B and C will play each other. Just because PNG no upsets. Upsets don't change anything. Papua New Guinea and Samoa will still stay on that side of the groups with England and whatnot. Daphmate says, I'm not a casual and I had an aneurysm. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Yeah, but you got Samoa in the draw. My goodness me. Goodness me. Other sports says this number shit. That's right. Munster at 7. Senpai says, I saw that. Jasper says, Mitchell playing prop. Seminator says, so stupid how they did this. George M. Iramu Jr. says, good night from Papua New Guinea. Get around here, son. Says, please give a shout out to the PNG Power. They better not screw us up during the World Cup. If we miss the Kumul games due to the power outages, riots might happen. And you know what's crazy is that probably, there probably will be riots. I know how much you guys care about rugby league. I'm actually doing next Tuesday night. We're actually doing a stream where we're going to be going through the best fan bases in the Rugby League World Cup of all the teams. And you guys are going to be ranked pretty highly. If you guys have no power, there will probably be riots. People will be looking. We'll be on my stream because I'll be streaming every game here. So at least you have me as a way to, I guess, listen to it anyway. But yeah, that's why I haven't gone to Fiji yet. Is because I am nervous about the internet over there and I'm nervous about the power situation. That's why I haven't gone over there. But yeah, blah, blah, you are very wrong with that PNG and Samoa thing. Justin said, but yeah, big shout out to Papua New Guinea, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys can do in this World Cup. I would love to see you guys do something really, really special. Jasper says, Mitchell and Whiten gold prop combo. Is the core, since the World Cup T20 cricket is on Sunday, you're going to live stream on that game also. Maybe. We'll see how we go, man. We'll see how we go. Cricket sometimes can get copyrighted for literally no reason, so... A lot of people, for some reason, when, for example, Hamish did it, and I've done it before, you get randos in Pakistan and Bangladesh and whatnot trying to copyright you, and it just screws with you. And it's like, you get rid of it quickly, but it screws with you. So it's kind of not even worth it, but I'll do my best. I'll definitely do the Australia game, that's for sure. Get my something Masters Gerber was the lowest winger in NRL history. Mate, Jake Trebojevic is the best winger that you ever did see. Jasper said, I think Holmes to wing and Burton or White in the centre. Yeah, that's what I've been saying for ages. Bright Roberts says, they have bigger forwards, but are they actually better? We saw in Origin smaller, faster forwards paid off. I think so. Yeah, I think that New Zealand's forwards to me have got the better depth there. Obviously, the likes of Jesse Brom is going to play. You've got James Fisher-Harris, who is just insane. Kenny Bromwich is very, very experienced. They are utilising Kenny Brom there. Moses Leota off the bench. Like, they've got a really good four-pack, man. They do. But I understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying there. Flex Swap says Harry's hurt. I did hear this. I don't know too much about that, but I did hear that there is... something potentially with Harry. Well, I think he just ran into the pole or the post or something like that. I don't think it's anything too serious though. But I did hear that Harry Grant did something, but I don't think he's seriously injured. Otherwise, there'd probably be a bit more of a fuss kicked up. Bench is a little small. It is very small here. Ruben Cotter, Harry Grant, Paddy Carrigan, and Jack Whiten. But then again, as we saw with Brighton, I guess New South Wales did have really big forwards in Regan Campbell-Gillard, Junior Paulo, Angus Crichton, not so much. Who was the other back row there? Where they had Isaiah Yeo, and who was the other? Liam Martin. Oh, that's small enough there. But the two front rowers were specifically the big boppers. Tino and Jake are decently sized, but not in regards to what we're talking about with Regan Campbell-Gillard and also Junior Paulo. So I understand, but this is interesting. I don't think Jake Trebojevic would normally play front row if it wasn't for the fact that Campbell-Gillard is out from being rested. Get my stomach email says this is going to be the first time when the number 8 jersey could run the field. Jack Trapp says, will you be watching the women's games in November, Blaze? Maybe. We'll see how we go, man. I'll see how it's tracking because I want to be... That will be time when FIFA World Cup will be on, so probably not actually, because that'll probably be on at the same time as the FIFA World Cup, and I will not be doing the women's games over the FIFA World Cup. We'll see how we go. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but that FIFA World Cup is a lot more hectic because there's a lot more teams. There's like 32 teams? 32 teams, 36 teams in the FIFA World Cup group stages compared to, 16 here. So it gets a bit hectic around then. Traps, that's right. Alfred says, if Samoa and Papua New Guinea upset England and Tonga, it doesn't mean anything. That'll eventually meet up in the quarters. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, if Samoa and PNG upset England and Tonga, it makes no sense. No matter what, the groups are the exact same, regardless of results, no matter what happens. Seven says, how you feel about one of the NRL games being played in the USA? Yeah, fine by me, but don't take a whole round there like someone suggested. Like, take a whole round to New Zealand if you have to, but don't be taking a whole round to USA, take one game there and make it relative. Like maybe you'd have the Manly Sea Eagles because of the eagle factor there. So you take Manly, the Eagles. That's their country, basically emblem there. The eagle has always been kind of known as the American. And then who was another team? Maybe the Cowboys because of the Dallas Cowboys. You could have a North Queensland Cowboys vs Manly Sea Eagles game there, but you want it to be good too. You do have the Tennessee Titans, but you wouldn't be taking a Gold Coast Titans team over there unless you played in Tennessee. Who else is there? Not the Storm, because people would never relate to the Melbourne Storm in America. Canberra Raiders. You could look at Las Vegas. They keep talking about Las Vegas, so I'm starting to feel like they're thinking about taking the Canberra Raiders to take on someone. It would be Canberra Raiders versus someone because they'd take it to Las Vegas. Maybe the Raiders versus... maybe Broncos too. Brisbane Broncos, Denver Broncos. Who's a big... Yeah, I guess the Broncos are a rival to Las Vegas as well. So maybe Canberra Raiders and Brisbane Broncos could be a good shout there from Las Vegas. Or Denver, and just play as a Brisbane Broncos home game. Flex Storm says, you staying up at 5'8". Whoa! What's something going on here? Blaze 6488 says, you're clueless, mate. I'm clueless. Okay, Cooper. Sure, man. Are you saying at 5 a.m. games? Yes, I am. And I'll be doing every single game, man. And Star says it would be good to see PNG go far this World Cup. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Seeing PNG go far this World Cup would be just incredible. Jackson says the bench is small because Cotter and Carrigan are not big either. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's what we were saying. Rib injury, but he said he should be fine. Beers man says the conditions. The conditions will probably favour bigger forwards. Yeah, maybe in the same sense. Yes, you're probably thinking in regards to the grindy kind of forwards because of the wet weather conditions that you're going to be seeing there in England. We can go and have a look here. Maybe do I have a weather app here? Do I have a weather app here? Let me have a look. 1 second here. I just typed in England weather. I should actually be a little bit more specific, I guess. But in the same sense, like you look at just in general England weather, a majority of it is raining. So today is pretty good, but then raining. Started the World Cup, raining, sunny, raining. This is England, baby. This is England, baby. This is what England brings, baby. Sergeant Girls is excited to see the Fox in the hooker role. Big man will put on a show. Jeez. Back to Blaze's fantastic comment about me being clueless. Alfred says Australia pack is light. I'm going to disagree with that one. I'm not going to... There's no way you'd say that's light. Tino Fast Malawi normally with Regan Campbell-Gillard is not light at all. Not light at all. If Tino was playing for Samoa, he'd be a walk-up start, mind you. Just want to throw that out there. He would 100% be in the starting lineup there. So Tino would start for the majority of nations. If not all. Maybe he wouldn't start over Fisher Harris and... Well, you might start Fisher Harris alongside Tino and the Kiwis, if he was a Kiwi, obviously. Fiji, yes. Samoa, absolutely. And then you go Tonga, who's the front row forwards for Tonga again? Who's the big front row forwards for Tonga again? You've got Moeki Fotuaika. I think Tino gets in over Moeki. I do. I think Tino gets a spot over Moeki, to be honest with you. And I love them both, obviously, as a Titans fan. Jackson says the women's start men's finals and it's the same day as men's finals. Oh, there you go. Alfred says Australia's last test pack, Papali'i, Haas, Clemmer, Vaughan, Frizzell, big pack. Yeah, but in the same sense, like, that pack's pretty decent, but in the same sense, Clemmer, it's a bit of a, push and... I don't know, it's okay. Like, Papali'i... Yeah, he was a lot younger back then as well. Haas, yes, obviously everyone would have loved to have Haas. Clemmer, his best days are gone. Vaughan, he's never really been absolutely unbelievable. He's been a decent forward in the past. He's never really been absolutely superb and unbelievable. And then Frizzell is hot and cold as well. So I understand, like I get where people are coming from in the fact that maybe Australia's forward pack is a little bit less now, but I just disagree. I think, look at this. You're currently taking out some of the forwards from the grand final, and Regan Campbell-Gillard goes in there for Jake Boyovich. That is a really still solid front row pairing there. Fantastic front row pairing. The back row, you're going to have Cameron Murray, who's a big bupper, go into the 12, and then you'll have Isaiah Yeo go into the 13 there. This forward pack is still incredible, man. I personally think that New Zealand's forward pack is better, but the forward pack is not bad at all. And then you've got Ben Hunt and Harry Grant. I had an argument today on Instagram, actually, with someone who said that, the spines of New Zealand and Australia are not that far apart. I completely disagree. I think Australia's spine is well and truly above where New Zealand's spine's at. James Tedesco compared to who's their fullback again? James Tedesco compared to Joe Manu. There's no comparison. Joe Manu can't get the fullback spot over James Tedesco at the Roosters. James Tedesco's won multiple premierships as a fullback. He is the captain of Australia. He is always known as the best fullback in the competition. And Joe Manu is still an unbelievable player, but he's still not even close to what James Tedesco is, right? Then even though he ran for a good amount of meters in one game against Tonga, mind you, and he's a good fullback, he really is, but he's not Tedesco level. You go to the 6th, Cameron Munster going up against Dylan Brown. You take Munster every day of the week there, guys. Dylan Brown's had a good year this year, but Munster has won multiple Origins on the back of his own back. He's I don't think he was the 6th in 2017 though. But multiple premiership winner. Cameron Munster's the best 5'8" in the game. Best 5'8" in the game. There's no doubt about that. Jerome Luai may be up there as well. Dylan Brown is definitely up there. And yeah, Cameron Munster is clearing out the best 6 for me. Cherry Evans against Jerome Hughes. Cherry Evans has got the experience. It's hard because Jerome Hughes is the top 3 half in the game. You could argue Cherry Evans is the top 3 half in the game. Obviously, Nathan Cleary, who's normally here, is the best halfback in the game. But I'd probably say maybe you lean with Hughes there due to age. But Cherry Evans is proven, man. He's proven in Origin. He's proven for Australia. He's proven at Manly. He's proven everywhere. Maybe this is the closest one here between Cherry Evans and Jerome Hughes. But then again, Cleary, when he's normally back, will be a massive gap between him and Hughes, in my personal opinion. And then you go to the number 9 and Ben Hunt against Brandon Smith. Brandon Smith has a horrible year. Brandon Smith had a horrible year for the Storm this year. Ben Hunt's been the best player. I'd argue, if it wasn't for the fact he was at the Dragons, he'd be the best player easily, Dally M easily. But Nico Hines obviously got that one. Who Ben Hunt's obviously knocked out for a spot, mind you. And then Harry Grant, if you want to put him in there, Harry Grant is the starting 9 at the Storm, and Brandon Smith isn't the starting 9 at the Storm. Now Brandon Smith goes to the Roosters, he'll be the number 9 because Sammy Verrills is left. But I think that the forwards of New Zealand are clearly the best. The backline shows the best, and then the spine of Australia is clearing out the better of the entire World Cup, realistically. Desmond says, can't just go over once and then don't go back. Brian Roberts says, Alfred, you saw in Origin a smaller, faster, harder working pack beats a bigger pack. Yeah, it can do. But then again, on a different track though, like I said, the weather conditions of England will really be impactful here. But anyway, he's talking about this other map in the chat. Oh, somebody else, some other map in the chat. Oh, if it's not me, then I just read it wrong. I don't take it seriously anyway. Desmond says, send the Dogs over there. They'll be a better America's team than the Cowboys. Sammy says, Samoa and Tonga beating England at the very least is good for the game. Oh, well, Tonga is kind of expected to beat England. I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of people are expecting Tonga to beat England. Samoa, I think a lot of people are expecting it too, but I think it would still be a bit of a shock if it did happen. 25 is hot for England. Yeah, absolutely. He's acting that way. Greg Martin says, I nearly spazzed out looking at those numbers. I know, it's stupid, eh? Look at this. Look at this Muppet, man. Look at the shit here. What's this shit, eh? Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. What the shit is that? What the shit is that? The most confusing one of the lot. We got a front rower here in the bloody centre. They got a front rower here. Latrell Mitt in the centre right now. But don't start me on this being confusing. Don't start me on that being confusing, not NRL, sorry. Rugby League World Cup, ARL. What the shit, man. Putting a 7 on the number 6. Shut up, man. Bloody gee whiz. Just hit the thumbs up button and subscribe, you Muppets. My God. What a stupid... What a stupid comment. What a stupid thing. Let's go back up here. Tiltonga says Tina would be good in the Samoan squad because they haven't got a lock. Well, Tina's not a lock. Tino isn't a lock, man. Tino is not a lock for me. Tino is not a lock. We've got, I said this at the beginning of the year too. Boys says, grow up Alfred and calm the farm. Alfred's having a crack at people, is he? Alfred says, Adam Fanor, Blake and Takiaho. Tino doesn't get a start in Tonga Pack. I would be taking Tino over Takiaho. But Adam Fanor, Blake... Depends. I'd be taking Tino over Takiaho. Yes, he does, Alfred, any day. Brighton says, yeah, absolutely. I'd actually say you keep the experience of Adam Fanor Blake, but I definitely would be going Tino over Takiaho. Absolutely. And I don't think... I think that there's a decent sized gap there. Get My Sim at Your Mouth says, thoughts on the Rugby League World Cup final being played at a toilet? It is definitely being played at a toilet. Tom Jones says, wet weather will suit England. Absolutely. This means the forwards will have to do most of the work to keep the ball in hand. Samoa should still be too good for the Poms given NRL experience on the big stage. So this is the thing, man. We're going to see, this is where the big boys are going to come out to play, and we're going to have to really see these island nations adapt well. Fiji showed that even though they had players out, they did not adapt well to the conditions when they played, wherever they played in the week. I think it was at Halifax maybe, or somewhere else. That could have been a Tonga game. Fiji showed that they didn't adapt too well. Papua New Guinea, haven't seen them play yet, but geez, that's going to be fun to watch. I don't know if they're going to adapt. I really don't, but I would love for them to. They've also got they should be definitely at least going to be top 2 of their group. Cook Islands shouldn't be getting above them. But yeah, the advantage is with England in regards to the weather conditions, but in the same sense, the advantage is still with these island teams. The only reason I have England so high up there is because it's in England. If this World Cup was in Australia, I would have been saying that Tonga, Samoa would have been in champion contenders for me. But obviously, I only had Australia and New Zealand, and England is between the two. But the reason why I don't have those guys as those real solid champion contenders is because I do get concerned about the weather and about the lack of heat. Let's put it that way. It's going to be cold, it's going to be wet, and it's going to be shite. Alvarez says Tino is overrated. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, buddy. Rono Zorro says Cleary should have played for New Zealand. Sam Kelson says, Alfred, how can you call the club Churchill medalist Tino overrated? But he's not going to get that joke. Eggman says, hi, hello. Bright Number says, Samoa favourite, man. Favourite for what against... Samoa favourite against who? Against England? Sure, maybe there might be. Alfred says, Tina never won a Clyde Churchill medal. Yes, I told you he wouldn't get it. Tom Jones says, nothing wrong with Daly Cherry Evans. Take your New South Wales blinkers off. Someone said something about Cherry Evans? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Cherry Evans here. Like, obviously, Cleary will be the 7, but there's nothing wrong with Cherry Evans here. Nothing wrong with Cherry Evans. Zembai says, who made this number system? Some muppet with no clue. Fiji Islanders says, Fiji aren't giving us any positive vibes. They're not really. No, it's not really kind of... And you can tell pretty quickly the vibe around a team. And Fiji, it doesn't seem like it's going to be their World Cup for me. Obviously, I want Fiji to do well. I'm getting some decent little vibes around Papua New Guinea. I really am. But obviously, the bigger vibes are obviously going to be Australia. I'm really getting a solid vibe about New Zealand, though. And the energy coming from... What's another team? Just thinking... Ireland's giving me some sneaky little kind of how you goings. Sneaky little how you goings there. And like I said, I thought by this time, and I still think that Samoa has overtaken Tonga in regards to a lot of aspects, but the energy I'm getting from Tonga is a little bit more exciting right now. I think that people are starting to get concerned about that spine for Samoa. Sam Hanuta says, for real, why can I actually see Latrell playing prop? Because he plays like a prop for the Rabbits and New South Wales when he plays. No and no. Alfred says, England has Burgess, Radley, Whitehead, Thompson in their pack. Okay, and are you trying to tell me that Tino doesn't get in that pack? Tino absolutely gets into that pack. Tino gets in for 1 over Burgess. Radley is 13, he wouldn't be going there. Tino gets in over all 3 of Whitehead, Thompson, and Burgess. Malcolm is coming home. Flags already flying. James McLaughlin says, don't count England out. It's cold and wet and at a home hostile crowd. It's coming home and we're winning it. Oh, no. Here we go. You ain't winning shit. Settle down. I think you're going to be better than people expect, but I think that I think because of one result, people have now overrated the shit out of England. Like, they've overrated the shit out of England. Now, look, and I'm going to keep talking here just to get my charger, because I realised I forgot to bring my charger over here. But... England have a good team, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like England are shy, even though I want to as an Australian, because when it comes to sport, England and Australia are the biggest rivals, right? But I just can't see England getting too much in regards to the backline flowing against these bigger teams. Yes, your forwards, but you've got to remember that every single time that we see an English back come over to the NRL, right, you get slapped. Let's talk Callum Watkins, for example. Dom Young is a bit different, but in the same sense, Dom Young never came over from the Super League, and also you're playing a very weakened Fiji team that time, where their wingers were not their wingers. They had Vunika Lapaji from the Super League or Championship or whatever over there. The wingers you guys were going up against in that game against Fiji were your wingers, were Fijians from your local competition. You come down and you take on the likes of Josh Adokar, Murray Talangi, or Ronaldo Molotalo and the likes. Man, bit of a different story, eh? It's a little bit of a different story. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and shit on England as if they can't do anything, but context does need to be provided there. Like it does. It just simply does. But I'm not counting England out completely. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Cleary Samoa, just like me. Tina walks in the England pack, absolutely. Bonesy Boy says, Alfred, go back to... Why is Alfred so upset? Why is he just so full on? Like, bro, we're just chilling out here, man. Logan Ballsack says, Blaze, Mr. Luke Sports made fun of the Titans in his last stream. That's interesting coming from a Bulldogs fan. DeGoat says, there's always an upset like... Brother, who is the one with the most recent wooden spoon? That makes no sense why that would be happening. From a Bulldogs perspective, but you do you, man. You do you. DeGo says there's always an upset game at World Cup. Which team is he reckon going to get cause upset? I keep saying it, DeGo. I could see Papua New Guinea doing it over Tonga. I could see Papua New Guinea doing it over Tonga. I like 13-1 is outrageous odds for Papua New Guinea, and although Tonga still do probably win, I'm not here telling you that PNG will win that game. But if there's going to be a big upset, I think that's probably the most likely one that I'm looking at right now. Biggie Shaq says, how have you reacted to now resting on the grand final players? It's a bit strange, but I think it's just an excuse to get Cherry Evans in, to be honest with you. Brian Boy says, Alfred's giving me drunk Broncos fan vibes. No, I don't know why he's just getting so... I don't know why he's so upset. Like, this is just a chill stream where we're giving our opinions, lads. Like, if you don't like it, it's not my problem, right? We've got people in the chat, they give their opinions. That's why when Alfred's commenting, I'm still replying to him and I'm still giving my thoughts. Like, I don't really care who doesn't like what I have to say or who doesn't like what you guys are saying. I'm still going to reply to you just the same. If I see someone make a stupid comment, then I'm just going to say, well, you're stupid. But, yeah, it's his opinion. But in the same sense, Tina Fast and Malawi will get into and start for most sides around the world. Maybe not New Zealand right now. Maybe not. But that's probably the closest one. Biggie Shack, that's right. Get my something now says Alfred is past your bedtime. It says I would have David Feeder in the Australian squad. He's not a terrible player. He's really strong at the middle. Australia missed out on Feeder. Who said Fafita's a terrible player? They are either a casual or a media watcher or a meme watcher. Anyone who actually watches the game knows that, and I keep saying this to you guys, watch my video about the players to watch out for. David Feeder. It was a club issue this year, and yet he was still one of the better defensive players on the team. He didn't get the attacking numbers, but if you actually know the game of rugby league, you know that was a club issue and not necessarily a Dave issue. Yes, did Dave not help himself out a lot of the time? Yeah, but in the same sense, it was a majority of the time a club issue that is being rectified and has been rectified on a large amount of levels. So just expect him to have a really good World Cup and expect next year to be absolutely bang as well. Bones Boy says, now Milford will get a hat-trick. Oh, here we go. Fiji Islanders, this money's on Tonga and Samoa, provided they don't get robbed. Tonga did not get robbed. It was a lost ball. Eggman says, why wouldn't they choose Cleary and Yo? Because they're resting the grand final players. Full-time leagues to Super League equals in-trust Super League. I feel sorry for England. This is a really tough one to unpack. This is a tough one to unpack here because St. Helens would probably compete with a couple of the decent NRL sides, but I don't know if they'd be able to do it long term. I think that overall, St. Helens probably still make the top 8, but I think that, they have the talent individually in individual games to get a win, but I don't think long term they're going to have the consistency to get wins in the NRL. So, they're a bit better than the Queensland Cup, though, to be completely honest with you. Tom Jones would start Harris DeVito instead of Milford to pair with Jerome Luai. He's a safer player and doesn't make silly mistakes. Whilst yes, I don't believe in Harris DeVito right now because I don't believe he's fully there. I don't think he's fully mentally there in rugby league. I don't know why he's been selected. I don't know why he's chosen to go there because he's taking next year off because he doesn't want to be around the game. Okay, you don't want to be around the game? You want to take a break? Why are you going to this World Cup? It makes no sense. Okay, well then take your break. Seems a little bit, picky and choosy to me. If you've got mental health issues, which I understand, if you need to take a mental health break, I get it, right? I'm a big advocate for mental health. But you can't then come out and say, I don't want to have the contract next year with the Warriors. I don't want to be there next year, but I'm going to go to the World Cup this year still. And I'm just like, It's a bit of a wank on thing for me, man. It's a bit of a wank on thing for me. It just seems too picky and choosy. And like I said, I'm a big believer in advocating for mental health. And if it's what he wants to do, I get it. I fully support him in him choosing to take a mental health break. But from an outside's perspective, it does look a little bit wanky that he's chosen to go to the World Cup, but then it also said, I'm not going to play next year because you're over rugby league for the time being. Okay, well, if you're over rugby league, then why are you still doing this? And considering that you're probably not even going to play. So you're going there. So what is it? You're realistically just using it for a holiday. Alex is because Mal's resting the Panthers players and deals. Bonesy Boy said, I think it's Australia's win to lose. Oh, this is definitely Australia's tournament still to lose. It always is. Brighton says, yeah, anyone can read the team list. It's gone. Let's go up a little bit. Let's go up a little bit here. Oh, that's still going. I just have to keep skipping over comments from time to time, lads. David says, Muppet. James says, you do know that NRL is not all of rugby league. The gap at the top is not that big. Sorry? We do know that NRL is not all of rugby league. Okay, so do you really want to start this in regards to England versus Australia, bro? Because you're not going to come out on top. You've never won a World Cup, bro. You've never won a World Cup. Australia won 8 of the last 9 World Cups. What do you want for me to say? What do you want people to say? You want people to bullshit you, bro? You want people to bullshit you and say, okay, the Super League is super close. Most teams are going to compete with the NRL. Like, I'm not here to lie to you, dude. And you know it. Like, I get country pride. I'm not here saying the A-League's anywhere close to the Premier League. You know, it's just A-League is shocking. Premier League is unbelievable. I'm not here sitting and saying that. But that's also because that's fact. And this is also fact. Australia won 8 of the last 9 World Cups. And none of those, that one World Cup win wasn't England. It wasn't England. So, like, what do you want me to say here for you, man? Like I said, I get country pride. I get back in your country. But, like, spare me, bro. Spare me in regards to saying the gap at the top isn't that big when they've won 8 of the last 9 World Cups. Blah, blah, blah says, yeah, I misread the quarterfinals. It seems a bit dumb to have teams that already played in groups be able to rematch before the final. Seems rigged for England to dodge Australia and New Zealand. No, it's just how it always works. Alfred's still mad at Tonga for some reason. I think he's Samoa and he just obviously there's a big rivalry there. Fiji Islander says, I wish I felt as confident for the Buddy. Fingers crossed, but not hold my breath. Sammy says he's not confident in Fiji. I'm not confident in Fiji. You're not confident in Fiji. I don't think anyone's confident in Fiji right now, man. Logan Ball says, I don't think Tanner would make the Jamaican squad. He would on the wing, mate. He would on the wing. Tanner's been on the wing for the Titans this year, and he scored a try. It's unbelievable. Biggie Shack says, could you explain what is with the Aussies wearing these numbers that don't correspond with their position? Basically, someone had a bit too much to drink one night, and potato. Wakaroa Owata says, yep, that's a big ass Kumals over Tonga, but I kind of agree, I just think that there is enough in that game that Tonga could be surprised. And I really do back it in. You've got a really good back line. Alex Johnston fullback. You've got Xavier Coates one wing. Muntalik on the other wing. Justin Olam in the centres. I can't remember the other centre, but you've got a really good back line, man. A really, really good back line. Malcolm says, I've been looking forward to this World Cup starting. Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man. Like I said, I'm going to be streaming literally every single game live here on BKR Sport. So be here every single time because we will be here for every game. But guys, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. Like I said, we're less than 100 away now from 20k, and we are absolutely flying right now. We're nearly going up like 100 subscribers every 2 days at the moment, so it's pretty crazy. Full-time league says people that say David Fafita is the worst player must have seen the game where he played centre. Again, club issue. And that proves it. Seminator says every Broncos fan besides me, I love watching Fafita play. Every Broncos fan loves watching Fafita play, but they just publicly don't publicly say it. Brighton says he was also injured for Origin. Fafita would have been picked, but he will be next year. Yeah, Fafita was going to be picked. It's crazy because in game 1, he was nearly picked anyway, even though he had that lingering injury. I don't know if people remember this, but Fafita nearly got selected regardless, which is crazy. He absolutely would have been selected for Queensland. Sammy says, only the understrength team against England. Relax. I'd rather be concerned if that was a full strength team instead. I am the biggest backer in Fiji. You know me, but I'm concerned. And I'm very well aware of the team that Fiji put out there. I'm very well aware. But I don't think that Apisa Korosau, William Kikau, Micah Sivo and the likes, Isuna Turuva do enough to overturn the result. I think they do enough to actually make it a lot limiting for an England win. But that was also a well-rested England team as well. So I'm concerned about Fiji. I am. My dark horse is Tonga, not a dark horse, mate. I think this is like the second, third, or fourth time that you've come into a stream and said that someone's a dark horse when they're a favourite. Tonga is not a dark horse, bro. Like, guys, a dark horse is a team that is well and truly not expected to win. Samoa have very good chances to win. I guess, well, technically speaking, actually, you could probably say that anyone's a dark horse. But then again, that's because Australia's the heavy favourites. You could technically say that New Zealand's a dark horse, right? Because New Zealand is like still $5 or $6 to 1 to win. Australia's like $1.30, right? New Zealand, anyone below New Zealand, which is everybody else, is effectively a dark horse. But realistically, I don't see dark horses as England, New Zealand, or Samoa, or Tonga. All four of those teams. I think Fiji would be a dark horse. I think Papua New Guinea would be a dark horse. I think anyone else would be class of dark horse as well. But for me, Australia, New Zealand, England, Samoa, Tonga, for me, are just not dark horses. Desmond says St. Helens will beat the Tigers. They would. They would. They should. Capish says, how come media here in New Zealand not talking about anything in the World Cup? I don't know. I really don't. I'm not sure. Maybe because they know most people won't get up for it. Capish says, well, the Parramatta Squeals have to go into rebuild for the grand final loss like you previously said. Absolutely. They've lost like 11 players already. Yeah, they've lost a lot of players already. They're going into rebuild, and it's shown pretty obviously, to be honest with you. Brian Robert says, St. Helens vs Raiders. Yeah, I could see them winning, but Chooks, Rabbits, and Storm, I don't know about that. Yeah, I could see... I still think Raiders could do it, though, but yeah. It astounds me, though. Like, people... You've got to realise what is kind of obvious and what's not obvious. And it's very obvious... that the NRL is leaps and bounds better than the Super League. Not even close. Like, it's not even close. It's not even close. The NRL is not even close to Super League. A lot of England players as well have either tried to go on to... Actually, majority of your England players have tried to go to the NRL, failed, and then come back. Right? A lot of them have tried to go to the NRL, failed, and come back. Sam Tompkins is the biggest one here. Because he's your fullback. He plays so well for England. He plays so well for is it, who's he play? Wigan? No, I'm not sure. He plays in Super League. He plays so well. He's like the Man of Steel or some shit. But he got slapped when he went to the Warriors. He was one of the worst players I think I've nearly ever seen when he went to the Warriors. But yeah, he's one of the best players that has ever played in the Super League. This is the gap difference, man. And this is just the truth. I'm not here to shit on your country. I'm not here to shit on the Super League. But it's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. As Robinson, as Sports says, England, I know Luke Thompson, Whitehead and Bateman good for, but their backs are shit, so that's why they aren't quality enough. The backs aren't shit, but their backs aren't NRL standard, is what I would say. Sidlani Varka says, watch Jamaica win. Oh, you're the biggest Muppet that ever did Muppet, man. The biggest Muppet ever did Muppet. Society say Lossie says St. Helens around 6 to 8. A couple of really talented kids in the back line. Absolutely. But I think 6 is a bit too high. I'd say 7. 7 through 10 is where I put them. 7 through 10. As a Sports says, interesting to see Murray Talangi. Hopefully he does well for us, but a bit worried he gets exposed. I'm a little bit worried too. That's why I thought Val Holmes wing and Jack White in centre. David Tupou, so I can't believe you almost have 20k subs right now. You deserve more. I appreciate you, man. Obviously, NRL Rugby League audience is a lot smaller as a community. We've got the FIFA World Cup coming up. We've got some A-League content we're going to be doing this week as well. But the main content on the channel is Rugby League. So you've got to realise that Rugby League is mainly just, Queensland, New South Wales, Papua New Guinea, Fiji, New Zealand, Tonga, full-on, Samoa, full-on. So only this area. Whilst if you're like the bigger YouTubers who do like Premier League, you've got the whole world. Or NFL, NBA and the likes, you've got the whole world. So that's a difference. But we're actually the second biggest NRL channel on the platform right now, besides Bloke in a Bar, who is obviously an ex-player. So for someone who's not an ex-player, we're actually the highest on the platform, which is pretty cool, man. So no, I love it, and I appreciate every single one of you, and we're super close to 20k, which is mad, man, because I was hoping to get to 20k by like next year, but we're nearly there before the World Cup even starts. And we've got 3 World Cups to go through in the next 2 months as well. Seven says, can we see some other lineups for the World Cup? There's no other lineups yet. They haven't come out with them yet. I'll show you. Unless they've come out whilst we've been streaming live, no one else has come out and put their lineup here. Yep, no one's put their lineup here for the England Samoa game. No one's come up here and put a lineup for the England Samoa game. Even Fiji haven't put their team lineup yet. Scotland and Italy, no team lineup there. Wow, they've played one game together, Scotland and Italy, and it drew. Jeez. Jamaica and Ireland. Yep, nothing there. $1 for Ireland is pretty special. Like, that's wild. I get it, but in the same sense, like, that's pretty mad. Yep, and New Zealand, they haven't announced anything yet. Yeah, so the only team that's actually announced their team lineup is Australia. I'm not too sure when they will announce the other ones. Malcolm says Jamaica will be difficult to win. It be England winter. Settle down. Sammy says Harris Tavia seems to be the lesser of the two evils compared to Milford, on whom to partner with Luai. I think that Milford has the ability to be the better player. I select Milford over Harris Tavia personally. I just think that it's not 2015 anymore. Beesman says there is basically 8 NRL teams this World Cup. Absolutely, yeah. And that's how it is. That's how it works. Dasman says NRL teams treat the World Club Challenge as a preseason game. Oh no, someone hasn't used the preseason bloody championship, have they? Surely not. Yes, they do. It is literally a preseason game. It's literally a game. It's our preseason. That game means nothing to anyone in Australia. And we still win, well, I think 50% of the time. But in the same sense as well, that game means nothing to us. It's in our preseason, and we always have to travel to England. It's never in Australia. It's always in England. So try taking Penrith on in Penrith. Good luck, lads. Who was it? St. Helens? Go to Penrith. I implore you, and I encourage you. To go to Penrith, man. I can't wait to see that one. Sasaya Salossi says, Tongan coaching situation best out of island teams. Do you think coaching is important in these short tournaments? Especially for your island teams, yes. Samoa, I've never believed, and I don't think any Samoans believe in Matt Parrish. I would have loved, as we all knew, Andrew Johns and Matty Johns, saying they were going to come out and do it. But obviously, things and issues arose, and they weren't able to do it. But yeah, look, I think that it's a really important thing because you've got so many players with X Factor that you need to limit the X Factor sometimes and put in just simply experienced, safe players. You can't just have X Factor in a team, otherwise it just simply will not work. You cannot just have only X Factor in teams. So yes, it is very important in regards to coaching because they need to know which players on at the right times. As he sports says, can't wait to see the big bops like Apollo and Fisher Harris. Yeah, they're not really the guys I'll be looking forward to watching, but, each their own. Eggman says Cleary and Yo are getting rested, so they aren't playing the entire World Cup. They're only rested for the one game, bro. Lagan Balsic says the stadium's going to wobble when Paulo and Tamalolo collide. Gee whiz. James McLaughlin says England won 3 times. France, no, mate. No. As his sport says, what are your thoughts? AJ at fullback, my opinion, he's best at winger, but geez, you English really are clutching at straws, eh? No, mate. Well, England won 3 times, but it wasn't a professional competition. What, back in the 70s? 60s? Come on, man. You got to be honest with yourself. Stop lying to you. It's not about me, because you're not lying to me. I know what I'm talking about. These guys know... Oh, well, some of them know what they're talking about. Not all these guys know what they're talking about. But, who are you trying to lie to? Who are you trying to prove to? You're not going to tell me how England are. I know what it's like. This is what I do every day, man. It's my opinion, obviously, and not everything that I say is fact, but I don't understand what you're trying to achieve here and accomplish here. You're really trying to compare England to Australia, bro? Come on, man. 8 of the last 9 World Cups. When England won a World Cup, I guarantee it wasn't even classed as a professional competition back then. What are you trying to achieve here, man? You're just making me shit on England. I don't want to shit on England, but if you're going to try and compare England to Australia, you're going to get absolutely obliterated. You think that the NRL and the Super League is comparable? You think the NRL and the Super League is comparable? Bro, come on, man. You've had one team win 3-4 years in a row, and yet people don't even believe they've necessarily made the 8 in the NRL. Lad, I don't want to sit here and shit on your team and whatnot, but you've got to be realistic. You've got to be realistic. Oh, and now we've got Ireland being the 6th strongest team. Bro! Okay, so let's do this again, right? So you've got Australia, New Zealand, Samoa, Fiji, and you've also got, England, right? You've got Lebanon, and you've got Papua New Guinea. What teams are Ireland above there? Maybe, you could say maybe Lebanon. You're not putting them above Fiji. You're not putting them above Papua New Guinea. Who are you putting them above? 6th best in the... Bro, you are so out of it, eh? Do you watch the NRL? Do you watch the NRL outside of England? Because I feel like you don't. I feel like you watch one league and you don't really give a shit about what's going on elsewhere. You know, as much as I don't watch the Super League every week, I know well and truly enough about it because this has been my life forever, right? I don't understand why you would think in any planet that the England Super League and the NRL is even remotely comparable. And secondly, you're talking about England in the, nearly 70 odd years ago, 80 years ago, when it was not a professional competition, compared to the last 8 of 9 World Cups. What do you want, and what are you trying to achieve? You're literally just making it bad for England here. As Sport says, what are your thoughts at AJ at fullback? My opinion is best at winger, but he still scores tries. I think considering the... unless you go Ed and Gebby at fullback there for Papua New Guinea, I still prefer Johnson at fullback. Absolutely, I think he'll be safe, and I think that Ngotalik will get a good crack there alongside Xavier Coates. You've got one big bang wing there in Xavier Coates, so get around him. Ireland, I would class as a dark horse and all stuff, but there's no way that right now you'd be saying that they're above about 8 of those teams I just mentioned. Tom Jones says the media attention on the Samoan team is off the charts since the deflections of a few players, while there are plenty of other players doing the same for other teams. Media is rubbish and clickbait. So people want to shit in Australia, and this is exactly what James is doing. So I see right through what James McLaughlin was trying to, right? What James is doing is exactly what the media does, is that they try to bring you off the top by comparing you to something that is non-comparable. With the media, they come out and say, Jerome Luai is defected from Australia. It was never going to get that 6 role of a Cameron Munster. The only one is Brian To'o, who would have started on the wing. All these guys they keep saying is deflecting. Look at how much it's impacted this team. Look how much it's impacted. Hold on. Let's go have a look at how much it's impacted. Oh, Tedesco, fullback. Best fullback in the game. Adokar, one of the best wingers in the game. Val Holmes, insane. Had one of the best years ever this year. And has always been known as one of the top players in the game, besides maybe last year, after a couple of years after coming back from the NFL. Murray Talangi, young, up and coming through, fantastic. Played the Cowboys this year, unbelievable. One try of the year, actually, or try assist of the year, anyway. Latrell Mitchell, best centre in the game. And Latrell Mitchell would, I want to throw this out there for Mr. James McLaughlin. Latrell Mitchell would run through every single one of your teams blindfolded. Cameron Munster in the 6, and I'm not even stuttering whatsoever there. I'm just telling you straight up, Latrell Mitchell is going to run through any team you put in front of him there. Cameron Munster in the 6, best 5'8" in the game. Cherry Evans is not going to be normally the halfback, but in the same sense, won a World Cup before. He's won multiple Origins before. And has won a premiership before. Like, what else do you want from Cherry Evans there? One of the safest halfbacks in the game, top 3 halfback in the game. Tell me a halfback in England that you think is better than Cherry Evans and has accomplished more than Cherry Evans on an actual, big scale, right? Front rowers, Tina Faz-Malawi, big bubba coming through. Jake Trbojevic, very experienced head, not normally going to be there, though. It's normally, obviously, like I said, going to be... Regan Campbell-Gillard, Ben Hunt, number 9, playing like the best hooker in the game right now, but Harry Grant. If you've got Damien Cook, who would start for literally every single England team blindfolded, who can't even make this World Cup, it tells you a lot there. Ben Hunt, and this is the thing, I don't want to shit on England, but old mate wants me to do it. Angus Crichton and Jeremiah Nanai there. The thing is we're going to this team and Cam Murray goes to the back row. Isaiah Yeo into the lock. It's not comparable, bro. It's not comparable. I'm going to get off this conversational point because I really don't want to be sitting here just annihilating England because I really have no interest in doing that. But you forced my hand. As Sports says, Trell Mitt, goal kicking been on fire. I think Trell Mitt probably kicks for us. But then again, Val Holmes might too. It could be Val Holmes or Trell Mitt. Smart call, Dave, mate. He plays a weekend. I was right. Look at me go, Daz. Look at me go. I'm for line. I was say Selassie says Catalans. Oh, I don't know about. I thought I was right. Ireland clear of Lebanon, Papua New Guinea, probably Fiji. That is the maddest, most ridiculous statement I have ever seen. That is by far the most ridiculous statement that I've ever seen, that Ireland is clear of Lebanon, Papua New Guinea, and probably Fiji. Okay, hello. Hold on 1 second. Let's go have a look at this. Alright. Let's go have a look at this here, big fella. Have fun with this one. You're going to really enjoy this little thing here. Guys, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here. We've got someone who really enjoys having European teams getting shit on. Okay, give us 1 moment here, brother. Will be 1 moment. Just taking it's taking a little bit here to load this up. Let's go over there. Sports. Wakaroa says, Ireland the 6th best team on earth. Sorry, but you're straight up dizzy. Oh, he's Muppet. He's a Muppet. Hold on. Hold on here. Bang. Let's go like that. Let's go like that. Okay. Okay. So let's go and have a look at this little bad boy here. Bang. So as you can see here on Sportsbet, we've got Australia at $1.53. They've actually come out. It looks like $1.33. Okay, let's go. So Ireland are clear. Ireland are clear, right? Okay, cool. So New Zealand are second with 4-1. You got Samoa above England, 950. That's bad odds. No. That's too high. You should be having that like 15-1 kind of deal. England 14-1. England should be above Samoa there. Tonga at 15-1. Then you got Fiji at 201-1. You've got Papua New Guinea at 301-1. Hey, look at that. Then you've got the dribblers here. Then you've got the dribblers in Ireland, Greece, France, Cook Islands, Italy, Jamaica, and Lebanon. Just want to throw this out there. Ireland, your sixth best team in the world, is currently ranked on the same level as Jamaica in regards to odds to win the World Cup. So, brother, you think you're the sixth best team? Go. That's value. That's value, bro. Ireland, that's value. That's value. 501-1. Whoa, dear me. Ireland have the same amount of odds to win this World Cup as the Cook Islands, France, Greece, Italy, Jamaica, Lebanon, Scotland, and Wales. So if you want to give or take Lebanon, be my guest, bro. You can have Lebanon. But the other teams, they're all above. So technically they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At maximum that you can have is 8. At maximum that you can have is 8. And I still have Lebanon above them. So thanks for playing. Again, bro, stop. Fiji Islander says, here's a question. Is there a world ranking system for the Rugby League World? Can't be bothered to Google it. So there is, but it's kind of ridiculous. We haven't seen, Australia play since, 2019, 2018 or something like that. So I think Australia's fourth. But, look, we're technically fourth and yet they're $1.53. So, there is. I think it's New Zealand first, maybe Tonga second, Samoa third, Australia fourth, England fifth, which is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But technically there is. Crazy New Zealand says, yeah, Fiji Island, there's a world ranking in Rugby League, but teams hardly play any international games, so I wouldn't read too much into it. Yeah, exactly right. Taste of Australia will win the whole thing easy. I don't think easy, but they should be winning it still. It's theirs to lose anyway. Joseph Places, the World Cup did become a professional competition until 1995. Oh, wait a second, here we go. And England didn't compete in the competition until 1975. They competed on the Great Britain flag. Comparable. So, again, they've not won a World Cup. Thanks for playing. As Sports says, it's still a good... Thank you, Joseph Plays, for showing that one. It's still a good Aussie team compared to 2017. There's no different. Every position looks dangerous. I think the 2017 team is probably a little bit better. I think I'm a little bit more confident in the 2017 team because you still have Billy Slater, Kipper Cronk, Johnny Thurston, Cameron Smith. Who were the forwards back then? You would have had Papa Lee. Who was the team back then? I can't think of the forwards and whatnot. Full-time League says, mate, Ireland got smashed by PNG in 2017. Ireland's 4-pack was bigger than PNG's and they still got smashed. Bro, the guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, he's saying he lives in Brisbane. The closest he lives to Brisbane is buddy Huddersfield. Sosiah Solesi says, I think Tupou is still ahead of Josh and To'o in the two New South Wales wingers, and no one else would have made it. Tupou still ahead of Josh. I don't think Tupou gets selected over Josh Adokar. No, I don't believe so. I think that Mal will select Adokar there. I think Adokar was always getting selected for Australia this year. I really do. I don't think Tupou gets in over Adokar, but I think Tupou gets in over Talangi, obviously. Brian To'o guaranteed 100% gets in. But I think that Josh Adokar will make it. Especially considering he did, especially from the second half of the season this year, he did quite a bit with that Bulldogs team in comparison to the early parts anyway. To Goat says, I put Holmes in the wing. I can see that James has been timed out. He must have said something ridiculous. Oh, boy. I put Holmes in the wing and White in the centre, but maybe they will after the first match. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't think I think they are going to stick with this backline. I think this is their backline. I think this is the backline they're going with. Because it's not a surprising backline. Talangi on the wing is like, okay, it is what it is. And Holmes played centre all year for Queensland and also the Cowboys this year. So this is definitely not a surprising backline. I think this is the backline they want. And Jack White just comes off the 14 like he is down here. He just comes off the 14 there. Slash, we still have Cleary and Isaiah Yeo coming back from a break. And Liam Martin and Regan Campbell-Gillard, mind you. And also says Ireland could make out of the group stage, but they'll be slapped if they do in the quarterfinals. That's the thing. Like, they could make out of the group stages. They have to beat Lebanon. I tipped Ireland maybe to beat Lebanon. I think they're a sneaky to maybe beat Lebanon. But then again, as we saw here, you've got Lebanon and Ireland in the exact same position. So it's not as crazy as you think. It's not as crazy as you think. But it's close there. They're both given 501 odds. The thing is, I don't know what this guy said because I can't be bothered to click on it and see what he got timed out for. But I guarantee you it's because he can't handle the fact that he's getting slammed with facts right now. Jay says, throw your house on it. Top banter from... That's value, Tom Jones says. The guy's got a team with 501 odds to beat the likes of Fiji and Papua New Guinea. The guy thinks that Ireland are the next big thing. They're coming, lads. They're coming. Samoa in the last World Cup didn't even get out of the group stages, and yet they're above England right now, mate. I tried to warn you not to go at it. I tried to warn you, man. I did. Dago says he must have been thinking about the Ireland Union team. Well, the Ireland Union team are a top 3 team right now, man. Arguably top 2, but they'll still choke when it comes to the World Cup, itself. But they're a good team right now, the Irish team. Logan Ball says, hey man, don't hate Ireland. They got Keary. They got Jamin Jolliffe. They've got a big fella of mine. They got Jamin Jolliffe, the big Jimmy Jolliffe. I love Jimmy. This is what I said. Like, you just move on, man, because you don't win this battle. You make yourself look stupid by trying to compare England to Australia in rugby league. And then compare Ireland to everyone. Like, settle down. Like, well, Biggie Shack says, where do you think PNG fits into the World Cup puzzle? I think quarterfinals probably at best, man. I think they do obviously come second in Pool D, above the Cook Islands and Wales. Potentially, Pool D. Potentially on the slightest of chances they come first over Tonga if they beat Tonga. But realistically, let's think and assume that they come second. So that would mean they would then take on England. I don't see Papua New Guinea beating England. But if they beat England, that would be, James, the worst day of your life. Full-time League says, James, stop telling your comments. He's not. He's been timed out. I'm not doing it because I can't click on it, but one of the moderators are. One of the moderators, Jay did it for some reason. But I guarantee Jay did it for the right reason too. So yeah, no, his comments are getting deleted because they're getting timed out. As Sports says, why am I worried about Murray is Coates? He might not get timed out, but his comments getting deleted. Probably for good reason. Why am I worried about Murray is Coates, Tupou, Monotalo, falling? I don't know what that means. Brodie Croft won Man of the Steel and did nothing at the Broncos. Shows you all you need to know. Exactly right. You'll see this coming in 10 years, but David Clemmer, and I think Sharon Woods might have been the front rowers. Oh, wow. Wow, that was our front row pairing. Robin Orosaurus says To'o, Suali'i and Paulo would have made Oz team. I think that Suali'i was a maybe. Paulo would have made it. I think probably goes to the bench though. If not, he starts and then Campbell Giller goes to the bench. But they would have been intertwined. Mal really loves Tino. So he would have had Tino in the front row. Not timed out, just removed his stupid comments. Oh, okay, fair enough. Random Black Guy said I called it. I knew Val was going centres. Well, he is a centre. And there's no surprises there. He's a centre for the Cowboys and a centre for New South Wales. We were saying that I'm less confident in Talangi, that personally I would go Val Holmes to the wing and Jack White and / Matt Burton centres. You didn't really call anything. Look, that's what it was always more than likely going to be. What I was saying was that that's what I would do preferably because I'm not that confident in Talangi. But Val Holmes is a centre by trade. Society Salosi says Tigers half won Man of Steel as well, played very well, but way off Dally M level. Is that Jackson Hastings? Oh, bro. Like, he's okay. Flex Storm says, when does all the lineups come out? We're not too sure. That's why I did tonight's stream, because I thought that maybe like at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock there was going to be some more lineups that come out, but Joe's the only one, man. Joseph plays Great Britain did win the pre-professional World Cup in 54, 60 and 72. The one thing in common those wins had, they were all played in Europe. All played in Europe and before it was a professional game. Thanks for coming. Lager Ball says it's like trying to compare New Zealand to Jamaica. It's just a no. A bit different. No, let's not be too out of control here. It would be like comparing... It would be comparing the MLS to the Premier League, is what I would actually compare. I think that's a great comparison there. The Premier League being the NRL and the MLS being Super League. You just don't do it. Like the Premier League is one of, if not the best league in the world. With the NRL, it is clear and out the best team in the world, the best league in the world. But Super League is still decent. MLS is still decent, but it's nothing special, and it's not going to be. You put an MLS team and compare them with a Premier League team, they get slapped. Just like Super League, they get slapped with Australia. It is what it is. Alfred says, how does PNG with 3 NRL players beat Tonga? I think that. So basically, you look at the back line. So this is the problem with PNG all the time, right? And it's a good question that you have, Alfred, because I know that a lot of people will wonder that, is that Papua New Guinea all the time never do have rugby league NRL talented level. They all seem to just play incredible together. They're a very tough country. This is why that Tonga is probably actually second in regards to fan bases, because Papua New Guineans die for their team and die for their country. And I understand what Matamata Tonga means as well, but it's just a different level in Papua New Guinea. I don't understand why Tonga gets all the lights when PNG also should be getting just as much light for how much people give a shit about this sport in this country. They've got a very solid team. They're still probably going to get beaten, mate, and there's a reason why they're 13-1 odds underdogs. But I just know that they always get underestimated. Fiji were like $1.20 favourites against them in the mid-season internationals with a lot of NRL talent and got beaten by, 13, 14 points? Fiji a bit different, but in the same sense, it's a chance. I'm not guaranteeing it, but I'm confident PNG will play well enough that it'll be a close game regardless. But it's not a bad question, mate. It isn't a bad question. Society say, Lossies, I thought Lions should come out soon for betting soon. You would hope so. Full-time leagues, to be fair, I think too much expectation was on Croft's shoulders when he got to Brisbane at a time where Brisbane were desperate for results. Also at a time where Croft's career was on the line. But in the same sense, he wasn't that great at the Storm either. It's not like Brodie Croft did anything anywhere in the NRL. He was okay. He was fine in a Storm system that you're always going to be fine. But, he was, you know what I'm saying? Theophilus Sogoromo says, we love the underdog status. We relish it. So, you definitely are underdogs, and that's a guarantee. You definitely are underdogs, and you're not expected to win games, and especially not the game that I'm talking about here. But you're a much better team than people give you credit for as well. So, Alfred says, I've watched PNG since the 1980s versus Kiwis over in PNG. I know they're tough. Well, then you should know what I'm talking about then. So you should agree with what I'm saying then, that they do have that ability, that sneaky ability literally based on passion, not based on talent, but based on passion, based on physicality, and based on the fact that if anyone's going to, really, really take it to Tonga in regards to not giving a shit about the physical game that Tonga's going to play, it's going to be Papua New Guinea. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be obviously New Zealand, but removing them from the equation, I'd probably say that PNG are more physical than New Zealand. And I would say that PNG could arguably be more physical than Tonga. And the reason being is because that's their whole game. If they don't win the physicality battle, then they're going to get pumped by 100. Right? If they lose the physicality battle to Tonga, they lose by 100. But it comes down to if they can win that physically tough grind, then that means that PNG will be in the game. Biggie Shack says, what do you think of Tonga's young spine featuring Talatau Kuala and Talatau Moan? I don't like it. That's the biggest concerns. And Talatau Kuala won't be playing, though. He won't be there because you're not going to have a Kuala play fullback. You're going to have Will Hapawade as the fullback, and then I truly believe that it should be Isaiah Kotoa. Kotoa should be in the halves. Blah, blah, blah says PNG players play together a lot in Queensland Cups. They all play well together and can surprise teams who are better on paper early in the tournament. Absolutely. Manly for Life says, when do the team lists come out? Again, I'm not too sure, man. I'm not too sure. The best I can do is sit here and just wait for them to eventually come out, but I'm not 100% too sure, man. By the way, guys, we've got about 50 people watching. Let's get this up to 50 likes. Hit that thumbs up button. Let's get 14 more likes in this video. Somebody says, funny thing is that PNG are often overlooked despite being as good as the other 3 Pacific teams. Well, no, that's too far. No, that's a little bit too far there. No, they're not as good as the other 3 Pacific teams, but they have the ability to beat them. Theopolis says, if Tonga plays technical, they'll blow the game away. If Tonga plays X Factor, then they blow the game away. That's what happens. If Tonga plays like their X Factor selves, then they blow the game away. But if Tonga tries to match it physically with Papua New Guinea, yes, they probably still have the bigger bodies, but the actual real physical toughness bodies of Papua New Guinea are really going to be a good grind there for Tonga. Ben McGann says, I'm fully Australian, however, I don't like seeing us win consistently. I would love to see Lebanon do well. Lebanon aren't going to be doing well. Lebanon, for me, I have Lebanon in the BKR Sport sweepstakes. If you don't know, guys, on Instagram, BKR Sport Instagram, go and follow us. We did last night a BKR Sport sweepstakes. It was $25 entry, 16 people were in it, including myself, and you get given a random team, and if that team wins, you win the $400, all of the $25 put together. Winner takes all. I got Lebanon. I know that was a donation. Jackie Halafia says, I think PNG better than Samoa. Oh, I think it's a crazy comment. No. Let's not get too out of control here, lads. Biggie Shack says, also just a thank you to BKR for your effort in showing practically daily. These chats are really interesting and you have a distinct insight into the game. Well, look, I am here every single day, man. We've been doing it for the last couple of years, realistically. Obviously, we kind of got serious about the channel in 2020 when COVID hit. And before that, which is vlogs and whatnot. And since then, I'm pretty much here, as you said, daily. So, I know a thing or two about a thing or two. It doesn't mean that I know everything about everything, but I know a thing or two about a thing or two. So I'm able to give you a different opinion, and then you can listen to that. You can then listen to your own opinion. You can see what the guys in the chat are saying, and you can kind of piece it all together. But we're in the midst right now, just waiting for the next two games to start up, because there's nothing really on during the week right now. And it should be big. And I'm actually looking forward to next week on Tuesday. I'm going to be streaming we're going to be doing a rankings of the fan bases. So the likes of PNG, Fiji, how passionate are Australians, Tongans and whatnot. It should be a really big, good stream there. Joseph Play says, Munster has played in the last World Cup, played one game. The main halves pairing was Michael Morgan. And keep it current, Michael Morgan, what an underrated player he is. What an underrated player he was. Society Say Lossie says, Wolf needs to ensure their minds are on the game and they can lose any of their pools. Last World Cup beat New Zealand, then unlucky to beat Lebanon, then unlucky to lose to England. It was unlucky to lose to England. I'm glad you said unlucky to lose to England, Society, because for me, I did not think that was the wrong call. I think that was the correct call. He lost the ball. It was a loose carry. I know that Tongans don't like that, but in the same sense, I understand the passionate and energetic response. I thought it was a bit wild of seeing people march through the streets to protest the result as if it wasn't very obviously a loose carry. It was very, very obviously a loose carry. But in the same sense, it was unlucky because Tonga, Tonga got off to a bad start and England really pumped them early. And then Tonga came charging home, but they only gave themselves 7 minutes. Tonga, at that World Cup, was like the Titans last year. The Titans, or this year, a lot of the time would give up big leads and then try so hard to chase it home, but they'd already given up too big of a lead. And that was the issue. And that's what Tonga did last year. In 2017. So hopefully they get off to better starts this time. They've got a lot of expectation. I will say this as well. The pressure, I would say the most pressure would be Tonga. I'd say it's Tonga more than Australia. I'd say Tonga has more pressure at this World Cup than Australia. I might actually do a video about this tomorrow. I might do a tier rankings video, not a stream, a video of the teams with the most pressure in this World Cup. And I genuinely believe that Tonga could be number one. I think Tonga could be number one there. It'll be close though. It'll be close between them and Australia. But I do think that Tonga could be number one there. All right, we'll stick around for just a little bit longer. Now, guys, I won't be here for too much longer. We'll just answer a couple more comments. Jackie Halafia says, I'm surprised the Dally M winner and Clive Churchill winner not in the Aussie team. I'm not. Nico Hines had a great year. But in the same sense, there's a lot of context that needs to be applied there. Ben Hunt's always going to be selected, and they've won Harry Grant as that 14 role / Jack Whiten. Nico Hines is very one-dimensional in a lot of ways. I know he can play fullback, centre, and in the halves, but in the same sense, he's a lot more one-dimensional than, I guess, a Jack Whiten, or, when they want to have Harry Grant as that specific number 9 implementation. And then Val Holmes can play multiple, Latrell Mitchell can play multiple, you've got, even Munster can play multiple. The point of the matter is that Nico Hines, unfortunately, was not going to be able to work in, because even though he can play multiple positions, they've got enough guys like that. And then with Dylan Edwards, he's simply a fullback, and he's not getting into Tedesco. He is only a fullback. He's not a centre, he's not a winger, he's not in the halves, nothing, right? So he's only a fullback. That's why he doesn't get in, and it's pretty clear now. He would be quite far down the line. You'd have Tedesco, you'd have Latrell, You would have normally Tommy Trebojevic as well, mind you. So that's already 3 above him. You'd have Pappenhausen, who would get in probably... Oh, maybe not. I think they probably would go Pappenhausen over Edwards, to be completely honest with you. But then you'd probably get Edwards then. Oh, no, Callum Ponga's there too. I reckon they probably go Callum Ponga too. I reckon Dylan Edwards is probably 6 in line. Society said, Lossie says, massive pressure. This is our golden generation. Absolutely. The biggest shakes is the fact that Dylan Edwards, Nicker Hines, and Damien Cook didn't even make the team shows you the depth of the Kangaroos. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But Society, I will say as well, I am begging and I am pleading for either you or Samoa to lose a game in the World Cup group stages and to come second. And it's probably going to be Samoa if they lose to England, but if it is Samoa versus Tonga in that first week, or if Tonga can beat England in that quarterfinal and Samoa can beat Papua New Guinea, that would be the most unreal semi-final/quarterfinal ever. Samoa versus Tonga in a knockout quarterfinal or knockout semi-final, World Cup, both sports, biggest in the country. It would be jaw-dropping that game. I reckon the stream here, we'd have thousands of people watching live. I reckon we'd have thousands of people watching that game live. TW says Mal seems favourable to Queensland players in the first team. No, so Cleary will get there. As Yo will come in as well. You've got to remember that he's resting the Panthers and Eels players in the grand final. That's what he's doing. He's resting them. Full-time, but he's also going to be quite biased as well because he is, yes, Queensland. But secondly, Queensland are the champions, and don't forget it, baby. Don't forget it. Full-time League says, being a star player in an okay team guarantees you Dally M points, thus pushing your rankings up. Being in a team such as Melbourne, surrounded by superstars, the Dally M points will be shared. Whilst, yes, Nicker Hines was in the Sharks team that came second. Right, the Sharks did still come second, so I wouldn't really call the Sharks an average team. But Cleary would have gotten it if he wasn't suspended. If he didn't get suspended. Sammy says that semi-final in 2017 is a reminder of why Wolf will get Tonga mentally focused and tuned in this World Cup. I think that semi-final showed that Tonga have that kind of big game collapse ability, like the big game ability to collapse, because they did collapse really strong. I think they were down 22-0 or 20-0. And then scored, and then obviously there was that great try between, I think it was Tamalolo breaking through, and then off to Leilua in the back in the centre, and then he ran onto the post. We all know that what happened with, was it Conrad Harrell or Andrew Fafita, where the ball was dropped, and it was not stripped, it was just simply dropped, loose carry. They came home so strong, but it was just so unfortunate that they gave up too big of a lead. Sebastian Grammer says, Tonga vs Samoa in the elimination phase would see the debut of slow mode on the channel. Oh, bro, absolutely goddamn-lutely. Absolutely. I actually think I need to start putting it in already because, I'm not going to lie, I miss a lot of comments in these streams lately, because even this stream today, because, we had a heap of people here before and the comments were going super fast from Muppet Central James and Muppet Central Alfred. So we had a lot of comments coming through before, and I miss a heap of them. So I do probably need to put on like a 3-second slow mode, because right now I've still got it on the old one. We'll go until 8:30, so we'll go for 13 more minutes and then we'll jump off. Shaki Huddleford says, what team do you think would be in the grand final of Tonga, Kiwis, England, Samoa don't make it? Well, Australia. Okay, so let's take. You're saying all the favourites get knocked out. Okay, well. Out of someone who's not Australia, Kiwis, England, Samoa, well, Tonga, but take Tonga out. You'd probably go Fiji versus Papua New Guinea. Yeah, you'd say Fiji versus Papua New Guinea because Fiji on this side of the group and Papua New Guinea on that side of the group. So you'd say probably Fiji, Papua New Guinea. Biggie Shack says, why do you think Tonga have the most pressure on them? Is their window closing? No, but I'll speak about that tomorrow. I'm going to do a video tomorrow. After this stream finishes, I'm actually going to do a video and film it ahead of tomorrow and then have that uploaded because that's a good one. That's a good video. Actually, let me write that down. Actually, moderator, who's here, can you put in the moderator's chat to do that video? Tier rankings for most pressure. Which team has the most pressure going to this World Cup? Melu Supala says, go Toa, Toa Samoa. I'm not going to read the rest of it because I don't know what the rest of it says, but go Toa Samoa. How was it a clear drop? Brother, Awana, it was a loose carry and you know it. It's a loose carry and you know it. It's a loose carry. And I wanted Tonga to win that. Australians and English do not get along in sport, man. I wanted Tonga to win that. It was a loose carry. It was a loose carry. It was not a robbery. I prefer Samoa Tonga semi-final, although anything can happen. I would actually love a Tonga versus England. Tonga versus England semi-final. over Samoa Tonga. I would actually like a Samoa Tonga quarterfinal and then a Tonga England semi-final. I actually think that would be better. Because Tonga to get the revenge, Australia versus Tonga in the World Cup final would be simply incredible too. I do think Australia wins that, but that would be such an unreal way to do it. For them to beat their biggest rivals in Samoa and then beat their England, who beat them in the last World Cup, that would be really fun to watch. Big Chasers, do you think there will be send-offs in the World Cup? Absolutely. Society Salossi says, problem with Samoan teams has always been unity and sometimes being on the same page with management. I hope this time different with so many Mount Druitt boys in the team. When you've got Milford in a team, you've really got to consider whether it's about the team or about themselves. Dolphins fan says, Dolphins are winning the World Cup. Okay. A full-time league says, no, Dolphins are winning the Planetary Cup. Dolphins are winning the Muppet Cup. Exactly right, Jay. Exactly right. The Dolphins are winning the goddamn Muppet Cup. Like, jeez, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's happening here? My phone died. These Muppets get in the chat, and this is what happens. And this is what happens here. You know what I'm saying? Gee whiz. But there you go. You know. But overall, look. If you want to say, I think that the way that Tonga's reacted to that World Cup was fine. Owana says, okay, I don't know how you think that's so clear cut because you also see a strip, but okay, each their own. No, I don't see a strip. You can clearly see it was a loose carry, bro. Like, it's very clear to loose carry. Anyone who wasn't Tongan that day could see that was a loose carry. Tongans obviously were very... I understand the emotion, and I understand Tongans believing it, but anyone who knows rugby league knows that's a loose carry. Like, it's not even really as close as it was made out to be. The only reason it was made out to be so close, and the reason why rugby league didn't come out and admit they're incorrect, because obviously we said all the time, if rugby league believes they're being incorrect, they'll come out and apologise. They didn't apologise because they were right. It was a loose carry. The ball was a loose carry. Unfortunately, it was a knock-on. It's just how it's called. And if you watch the NRL nowadays, they're even more strict than that. That was actually the time that it was less strict. So I guess you maybe have a little bit of to and fro. But nowadays, I guess, actually, you know what, Iwana? I'm going to clarify, right? So it was a clear strip now. Sorry, it was a clear loose carry now. Nowadays, that's a clear loose carry. So that's where my mindset is. Back then, maybe it wasn't as clear cut of a loose carry, but it was definitely a loose carry. Do you know what I'm saying now? The mindset I've got now is based on what we've got now. So if that happens in today's game, it wouldn't even be a question. It's clear loose carry. But back then, in 2017, Uwana, you can get offended all you like, man. But the point of the matter is that you lost, and fair enough, right? If you want to cry, you can cry. Be my guest. Use that. Put tears in the chat. You can cry all you like. I'm giving you my opinion. You don't like that, that's your problem, not mine. But my team won the World Cup and yours didn't. So you want me to do that? Fine, right? But I'm not here to shit in you. But if you want someone to tell you their opinion without, lying to you to make you feel better, like if you want me to sit here and lie to you, I can do that. I can tell you, I can make you feel a little warm and cozy and say, oh my God, I feel so sorry for Tonga, man. Like, they had such a harsh call against them. It was clearly a strip. I should have gone with them to protest in Sydney. Even though, it was probably the right call, and everyone probably knows it's the right call. But in the same sense, I do feel so sorry for you because it was a rip-off. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you how realistically it is. So, you do you, man. You cry all you like, but that was 5 years ago, and it was the right call. Sharky Huddlefear says, if the 2-point field goal was made back then, do you think Tonga would have gone for the try, the 2-point field goal against England? No, they wouldn't have gone for the try, because they were only 10 metres out. So they would have had to pass it back and pass it back and pass it back. It would have been incredibly tough. No, I'd absolutely. Zuwana said something pretty bad, have they? Oh man, some people just can't handle it. They really want to get involved and they really want to try and prove you wrong, but it's like, not everything needs to be competition, man. Like, it just, if people don't like it, this channel might not be for them. But if anyone doesn't think that was a loose carry, then you don't know rugby league. You don't know the rules of rugby league. Dolphins fans, Australia vs New Zealand final. Can't happen, bro. It can only happen in the semi-final. Tommy Jones says, there must be something in the water at Penrith. They keep churning out the best players in all the grades, which has rewarded a lot of players at rep level. Take a bow, Penrith Rugby League, the envy of the world. Absolutely. It's taken a while to get there. It's not like it was just something that happened bang. It took them about 5, 6, probably about more like 8 years to get to that level. They were really bad before. They were really bad before, and now they've obviously killed it. So now Gus is trying to do it at the Doggies. Unfortunately for the Warriors, he probably won't go back there because he's getting older now, Gus, but he'll probably do the same with the Dogs. And, the Titans have been emulating a similar kind of plan that Penrith did. A lot of teams are really developing their youth a lot more now and really developing into the local community. Society Salossi says, I agree with you, lose carry, but BBC coverage thought that NRL lose carry Super League strip, but does not mean we did not get the result. It was a great World Cup. I think this one will be better. So, with Super League strip, you're saying, so basically, are you saying that in the Super League it is a different rule than the NRL? I'm literally asking a question, I'm not being sarcastic. Are you saying that there is a different ruling of that? Splash, is he going to watch some of us England? I'll be watching literally every game here, Splash. Literally every single game of the Rugby League World Cup we will be here for, man. So absolutely, man. Absolutely. Theophilus says, quit crying over spilt milk. Martin says, don't argue with Blaze or else you'll probably be humiliated. I'm okay admitting when I am wrong. And I say that all the time. If I say something stupid, I will tell you, no, I apologise. I said something incorrect. Different interpretation. Well, yeah, that's what I was asking. So, okay, well, different interpretation. Okay, well, then that's probably... So, was the Tongan feed, as in, like, because when I'm in Fiji, we go through Papua New Guinea's TV1, I think it is. And now it's Fiji 1, but TV1 is where we used to have Rugby League World Cup through and Rugby League and all that. So, was the Tongan feed through TV1 as well, or was that through the BBC? And the Super League kind of coverage. That would really be a good answer to why so many Tongans believe it's 100% a strip when it wasn't. Jackie Alafia says, has there ever been another team that Australia, Kiwis and England being in the grand final? I don't think so. Not in recent memory anyway. Not in the professional sense of the Rugby League World Cup. One second here. Rugby League World Cup finals. Like France have won it before and England have won it, but that was well before... the professional competition was up. Rugby League World Cup. Okay. Let's go have a look here. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new. France was in a final decades ago, but that might have been before the professional competition. AD says, yes, the Super League was in charge of the bunker of that game, and in the Super League that is called a strip. Okay, well, this is where it starts to get a little bit more interesting. Because obviously I'm Australian, I watch the NRL. That World Cup was in Australia, so I'm confused why there would be Super League officials in the bunker, considering that it's in Australia. That's where that gets super confusing. But this is getting very technical now. This is getting super technical. But if this is true, I'm not guaranteeing. Anyone who's watching right now and doesn't know if this is true or not, if this is true, this is allegedly what they're saying, then it's confusing why the Super League rules weren't applied. But in the same sense, that World Cup was applied to be an Australian Southern Hemisphere World Cup with the rules. So I don't understand why people would complain about Super League referees being in there when the rules are being applied are of the Southern Hemisphere. Just like the Northern Hemisphere rules will apply for this World Cup. And also Sebastian's right here. But then again, interpretation varies from one ref to another, regardless of where they're from. Absolutely. Every single referee in Australia. Jeez. No, I understand that, AD. I understand they had English refs in the World Cup too, but they're told to referee the same way as the Southern Hemisphere. Right? When you have a World Cup in certain areas, like for example this England World Cup, the Australian referees are going to be told to referee the game as an English Super League ref. That's just kind of how it works. And the rules are meant to be interpreted as if this is where it will get confusing, but they're meant to be interpreted as if it's the English game. That's the benefit of having a World Cup as well. And it will be similar in France in 2025 as well, mind you. Theophilus says there should be an international rugby league rulebook. Don't we have an international authority on that, such as FIFA is for soccer? So, you know what the worst thing about this World Cup is? That there's going to be extra time, like added time and stuff like that. Like injury time is what it is. So obviously I'm a big football fan. You guys know that. Premier League and whatnot. They have added time for injuries. So we saw that in the Fiji-England game, or maybe Tonga game, that there was injury time, which is so dumb. Like, so dumb, right? But that's what the Northern Hemisphere is like. They have that. They have injury time. So you might see a team lose in injury time, which will be the worst part of losing. Like, that will be... if you're a Southern Hemisphere team like Australia, Samoa, Tonga, PNG, Fiji, New Zealand, Cook Islands and whatnot, who play on our level of the game, you will hate that shit. As Society say, Lossie said, I think best chance to beat Australia is to outmuscle them. I think New Zealand has the team to do that. I think the best chance to beat Australia is to... Yeah, probably, actually. It probably is to grind them out. But... they still have a very grindy team, though. Like, they still do have the like... Latrell, Val, they both can grind. Tedesco can grind. Atakar's not really a grinder, neither is Talung. The wingers aren't, but then again, they're wingers. These guys are the peak of grinding games. Look at Queensland versus New South Wales. They're always backs against the wall, these two guys, for Queensland. The forwards, you're probably going to say, yes, the outmuscling from New Zealand of Australia. So, yes, in specific regards to New Zealand, yes, you are right there. Somebody says, since the trophy is literally renamed after a Frenchman, I'm not surprised if the Tricolours were in a final before World War II happened. And stuff their rugby league structure and everything. Well, they actually won a few. They were the first team to win. They were actually the best team back in the day. They were the best team when it was non-professional. The rule wasn't applied because the ref didn't go upstairs. That's fair. The ref didn't go upstairs there, yeah. Well, okay, so the more you look into it, yes, but in the same sense, it really is spilt milk. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is really bygone, 5 years ago now. But I now understand a bit more. That's what I'm saying. I can understand. I can now admit to when I'm wrong. When people explain a bit more to me, so I get that. But there is also it is kind of crying over nothing, if you know what I'm saying. But I do get where you're coming from in regards to that. Paul Max says, no, let's talk about the 2008 World Cup, no tears. Okay. I was there. I cried. I was 14 years old at the time. I was at the World Cup final. I was in Suncorp as a young kid. And that was heartbreaking. I was on the line where Billy Slater threw that back pass. But the same sense, Kiwi, learn your place. 8 of the last 9 World Cups. Let's talk about that. Well, there's international rules for the World Cup, so some rules were different from NRL. Like 2017 World Cup only had 1 ref when NRL side 2. Well, there's a few things that are coming out, yeah. It's so dumb to stop the clock. Exactly right. Imagine losing a game in the 85th minute in the semis. Oh, bro. 80 says, no, that's not how it works. It's called different perspective. Our Aussie refs consider most drop balls knock-ons. Knockbacks are just called drop balls sometimes, but Northern Hemisphere refs play on. Wait, what? No, that's not how it works. If you're talking to me, then whatever I said is probably how it works. But it's called different perspectives. I'm very well aware of different perspectives. Our Aussie refs consider most drop balls knock-ons. Yes. Knockbacks are just called drop balls sometimes, but Northern Hemisphere refs play on. What are you trying to say here? I don't understand how it's meant to be proving whatever I've said wrong. I'm very well aware of the different perspectives, but referees are told at a World Cup to referee the same way as the hemisphere that it's in, and for the local competition. So the referees are going to be told to referee the game as if it's a Super League game. Yes, you're going to get inconsistencies because the Australian refs are going to referee it in a different way. But the fact of the matter is the referees are told and initiated to referee in regards to the local competition. So I don't understand what you're trying to say here. And in regards to what you just said, you will get inconsistencies at this World Cup in regards to that. In regards to specifically what you just said. Talangi is a trader. Splash says, you're a muppet. Somebody says, I think they call it in real life Theo, formerly known as Rugby League International Federation. Society said, loss is pain. Haas is a big loss. Yeah, he's definitely a loss. He's definitely a loss, but Australia can cover, but he's definitely a loss, absolutely. Tom Jones, I just hope the refs are not going to be inconsistent like the numbers being worn by the Aussie team. Oh, damn, bro. Don't start me on this again. I've already gone off at this shit. This is the most confusing one of the lot. Because, number 7 is normally here, right? So, Cameron Munster, who's playing with 5'8", gets the number 7. This is going to be the strangest thing. The person who came up with this idea is the dumbest person in the planet of rugby league, straight up. And no one likes it because it's dumb. Paul Maxey says, odds will win either Great Britain, Samoa or New Zealand for second place. So New Zealand, so if odds win, you'd get 3rd/4th, Paul Maxey. Because you've got to remember, Australia will play New Zealand in the semi-final. You cannot get anything else. Unless Australia or New Zealand get knocked out by Fiji / Lebanon, you're not going to see a different semi-final. It's going to be Australia versus New Zealand semi-final, right? We are literally just waiting for that moment. People don't realise this. The semi-final is determined on that side. It is Australia versus New Zealand. But on the other side, you've got Tonga, Samoa, England, and Papua New Guinea. And honestly, I'm not absurdly surprised if Papua New Guinea did make a semi-final. I would not be absurdly surprised. But definite upset, though. Society Solossi says, one ref is awesome for Islander teams, slows the pace down, does not make it a fitness test. Biggie Shaq says, could you provide the context of why it would be the worst way to lose if a team was to lose in injury time? Well, it's time that is not given in the NRL. I understand that it's still effectively the timing of the game. However, rugby league is not played like in the Northern Hemisphere is played like this, but in the Southern Hemisphere, when it hits 80, you've got one last play. That's it. With this, you don't actually know when the game's going to end. It's like in the Premier League. Like, you don't know. The referee could still keep giving on extra minutes if he believes it's an injury or something that happens during that injury time, right? So even in injury time, you can get another injury which will prolong, and then you don't. It's like AFL. AFL at the game, you don't have a clock that tells you how long to go. And it kind of makes it exciting, but it also will make it so shit if you lose that game in that regards. At least with the 80, people are just like, done. But when it gets past the 80, you don't actually know. Like, you don't actually... Yeah, no, which is it's intriguing, but it's also shit house. Sebastian says, he said it as if there are no knock-ons in the north. Got to word differently. Oh. Paul Maxey says, is it true the Australian players are scared of Jared and actually call him Sir? Jared? Jared who? Jared Warrior-Hargraves? Likes a cat. Get why something Mouse says, if they could choose their numbers, it will be it'll be better. Yeah, if you got the Australians to choose their numbers so that you could put it on their back and people would like financially support it, like, you know, they'd buy a jersey of a player who selected that. It's like the NBA and whatnot. It'd be a little bit better, but obviously as a traditionalist, I want 1, 2, 5, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Jay Hunt says, what's the 17 for Samoa on the Poms? They have not come up with their team list yet, man. So stay tuned, obviously, to the channel over the next couple of days because we will react to the teams live as they come through. But we'll click on here, and I don't believe they've given us their team list yet. No, they have not. They have not. They have not here. So, yeah. Head-to-head played. Have they never played each other, England and Samoa? Have Samoa and England never played each other? Wins overall, 59%, 20 out of 34, 7 out of 17. Surely not. Surely not. Surely Samoa and England have never played before. Society Solossi says at the end of the 80 minutes, do they say how many minutes injury time like soccer? I don't think so. But I don't know. So don't take my word for that. I don't know. We saw it in the warm-up game. I'm not 100% too certain. But I'm just surprised with this. I'm going to quickly go and have a look and see if this is just a typo or something like that. Because... let's see Australia versus Fiji, how many times they've played. Let's go to... where's the stats? Team stats. They've played 6 times. 1, 5, drawn 1. What? When was the last time? When was the time they drew? Oh, here. 2013, they drew 0-0. What? We drew 0-0 with Fiji? Alright, let's go like this. I don't think that's right. Is that right? Matthew Cortez, they're playing 2014. Yes, they must be wrong then. I don't understand why I got that. I don't understand why it's right there. Matthew Cortez, there was no extra time. The clock on the game was just wrong compared to the game. They didn't pause the clock when the ref called timeout. So Matthew, is what you're saying is that we don't have injury time then? Is that what you're saying? Because if that's what you're saying, please let me know so I don't have to be terrified about the nonsense of added time. Big Shaq. Also, a question would be good here. 1 second. Let's go and look at this. Let's go and have a look at this for a second here. Guys, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here. We'll stick on, or maybe stick around for 20 more minutes. We'll go till 9. We'll go for a 2-hour stream. So we'll be here for 20 more minutes. Let's go for Rugby League World Cup 2021 rules. Let's see if it announces tournament match. Ooh, let's go like that. Let's go like that. IRL adopts an NRL rule change ahead of World Cup. 6 again rules that we introduced, yeah. I'd love to see if they have something here. Teddy's number 1 because he's captain. Captain's number 1. Yeah, no, yeah. Oh, Big Shaq says, I just looked up the Kangaroo story. The numbers represent the order the players debuted in. I just learned that today. Teddy debuted before DCE. Yeah, it's true. There's no injury time. Well, good. Thank you, Matthew, for letting us know that. Thank God. Thank God. I just want to see 20... maybe if I do 2022 rules instead. 2022 rules. Field goals, set restarts, captain challenge. Okay, here we go. Field goals, set restarts, captain challenges, and concussions. Oh, I heard the concussions one's pretty controversial. Alright, so the Rugby League World Cup we'll see a number of distinct on-field rule variations to those used in the NRL. While the NRL have constantly tinkered with their rule book over the years, International Rugby League has always seen differences to the global premier domestic competition in Australia. Here are the key rules. By the way, Matthew, you understand where I got my confusion from, though, right? Like, please tell me that I'm not just losing my mind for no reason. Surely people know what I'm talking about, though. There you go. Field goals. In the NRL, the 2-point field goal has been brought into the competition in recent years from 40 metres out. It's a tactic that has been rarely used, but it has happened with a number of notable instances of the 2-point field goal. But there will be no 2-point field goal at the World Cup. Under International Rugby League rules, all field goals will be worth a single point, which... let's just 1 second here. Let's do that. This, however, will not apply. Under International Rugby League rules, all field goals will be worth a single point, which means there'll be no miracle 2-point field goals save games. We haven't really seen it before. Like, I guess maybe the Storm Rabbitohs game was the only instance where we saw a 2-point field goal save a game. 2-point field goal hasn't made it to the English Super League's rulebook, meaning their players will not have any differences in this part of the game. Set restarts. The set restart is one rule in the NRL which has made it all the way to... Let's just get out of this buddy Mumford tree. Which has made it all the way to the Super League. However, it is officiated slightly differently between the two competitions, who have both looked to speed up the game in recent years. This English game is quite speedy, though, isn't it? Isn't the English game already quite speedy? It's a sentiment that the IRL agree with, as the issues of fatigued forwards and the need for a more entertaining product come into view. In the NRL, however, penalties are rewarded for ruck infringements if the incident occurs within a team's own 14-metre zone. This will not be the case at the World Cup, with 6 again for ruck infringements to be ordered at any point of the field goal, as is the case for the English Super League. Matthew Cortez says, yeah, bro, it often happens in these little matches like warm-ups that don't get televised. Well, there you go. Get My Stomach Mouth says, only Australia could get a 2-point field goal. Maybe you could see Georgie Williams crack one for the England. You could see Jerome Hughes / Dylan Brown having a crack as well. Yeah, Australia, obviously, Val Holmes and the like, Cherry Evans, even Munster, to be completely honest with you. Trell Mitt as well. Jeez, how many field goal takers? If we have to go to extra time, we've got field goal kickers. Jeez, who's going to take it? Val Holmes. Cammy Munster could do it, but he'd probably be the 4th in the pecking order. You've got Cherry Evans who could do it, and you've got Latrell Mitt. Latrell Mitt, baby. Jeez, how are you going to know who's getting the ball there? Alright, so Captain's Challenge. The Captain's Challenge is another rule which will feature in the World Cup for the first time. As is the case in the NRL, each team will get 1 unsuccessful challenge per game, with it to be available in all men's and women's games. Cool. Okay, that's the same. A concussion and 18th man. Theophilus says Munster can't kick a field goal. Hasn't he kicked a field goal before? I know he can't kick a conversion. Munster can't kick a conversion, but I'm pretty certain he can kick a field goal. Could be wrong, though. Society says, yeah, concussion application will be very interesting. NFL recent ruling on Dolphins quarterback has put focus back on this in sport. Don't start me on that Tuatanga Valoa incident. That was bullshit, man. That was just stupid. He got fired, though, the one who did that, but that was ridiculous with Tuatanga Valoa. Alright, so concussion. Maybe the biggest difference in rules between the NRL and World Cup will come off the field in the return to play after a concussion. While the NRL's return to play policy is possible for a player to pass through in just 6 days, that is not the case in the World Cup and Super League. A concussion will automatically rule a player out for a period of 11 days. 11 days, which could be a major problem to nations if multiple concussions occur to key players with only 24 men squads to pick from. That's mad. Yeah, Ben Hunt also kicked a field goal, Greg Martin. The 18th man is, as is the case in the NRL, will be able to be activated should 3 players be lost to concussion in the same match. That's mad. 11 days? That's a lot of the tournament, man. Like, for example, I'm going to show you what 11 days is. Rugby League World Cup games. Let's do that. Let's move it like this. Bang. And then we'll go like this. 11 days is huge, guys. That's a lot of time in a Rugby League World Cup. So, for example, right, let's use England. Let's use Samoa as an example here. So their game was on Saturday, 15th of October. So that's 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. The 26th of October will be the next time that they're eligible to play again. So they missed that game, obviously. They definitely will miss the game against... Greece, and they'll be lucky if they do obviously pass it that they can come back for the game against France. But you'll probably see them effectively miss the entirety of the World Cup group stages because they're more than likely going to not bring them back for that third game as well. Tom said something here. Tom Jones says, as an Islander Kiwi, I would love to see the Aussie team do a pre-Aboriginal war dance. This may ruffle some feathers, but short-term pain for long-term gain. New Zealand has been doing this for the last 100 years. So whilst I agree with you, I do believe that... Actually, I'm going to repeat this. I'm going to clip this for my Instagram, right? Tom Jones says, as an Islander Kiwi, I would love to see the Aussie team do a pre-Aboriginal war dance. This may ruffle some feathers, but short-term pain for long-term gain. New Zealand has been doing this the last 100 years. So obviously he's referring to the All Blacks here, and he's referring to the haka. And whilst I do agree, I do believe that it would be a great sentiment to include everything in the culture of Australia. Obviously, Australia doesn't have the same Indigenous connection, like the connection between the white population and the Indigenous population isn't as close-knit as we'd like it to be comparatively to obviously New Zealand with the Māoris. They have a very good connection there comparatively. So I think that this is a great way to obviously create more of a connection with our history and culture. However, obviously it is interesting considering that the national anthem is something that isn't realistically allowed to be sung because the Indigenous find it offensive, which is fair enough as well. Like they are allowed to feel like that is offensive and whatnot. But it's very difficult for a lot of Australians to kind of back in this subject as well, considering that it would be... It's really difficult to say here because I'm massively for it. I would love to see it. But a lot of people will be like, well, they don't want to sing the national anthem of the country but yet want us to do an Indigenous dance with them. And a lot of people won't agree with it. So whilst I get it, and whilst I think it would be fantastic for this country to do, and it'll be a step forward, I do see where the criticism will come from, considering that we can't even agree to the national anthem being sung in representation of our country. Because no matter what, right, I will always sing the national anthem of our country because it represents the country. It's not anything else. It just simply is what represents Australia as a whole, which includes Indigenous and includes the white population as well. Although the history is bad, every single country has its bad past as well. So for me, when I sing the national anthem, I don't think about the bad atrocities that have happened in the past, which is something that England don't do, or America don't do, or China don't do. I just think about the fact that we're all coming together in this country. So yes, I would love it. I would love to see the Indigenous war cry happen there, similar to what we see in the Indigenous All-Stars game, but I do understand the criticisms that come with that. So I hope I said that right. I hope I said that without offending anybody, because I don't want to offend anybody there, but it is a very controversial subject, that, especially if you're Australian. Somebody says basically concussion means you're out of the tournament pretty much. Well, you're out of the group stages there. Jay says that might create more division, and that's not what we want. That's the tough thing, man, because it's not meant to create division. It's meant to do the complete opposite. But it also has the ability to kind of kick up a few things that are, a lot quieter right now. Obviously, when it comes around to Australia Day again, and I understand that whole debate, but, when it comes around to the Australia Day again, we're going to see it get kicked up over again, which will continuously be done. But it's just a lot of difficulties in regards to implementing Indigenous war cry, especially considering that, yes, I understand with the All Blacks, obviously they do the white population of New Zealand plus also the Indigenous Māoris of New Zealand, they have found a way to do it. That's also been cultural and it's been done for, as you said, over 100 years now. That was done at a different time. Nowadays, it's very difficult to implement change into those big kind of scale things. For example, NRL teams really desperately want to have songs like the AFL, or want to have songs like, for example, Glory Glory South Sydney for the Rabbitohs, or Up Up Cronulla for the Sharkies. And teams do try, but it just doesn't work. And it's very similar here. So, like I said, to wrap it all up, I agree with it. I would love to see it happen, but I can understand where the difficulties will come from. Splash says Fiji win this one. Okay, mate. Well, enjoy your 21-1 odds, mate. Go chuck your house in it. You know what, Splash? I want you to feel free to go and chuck your house on Fiji at 21-1. Right now, James Tedesco's taken on nobody. So that's going to be a pretty easy task there for Tedesco. Adokar and Maritalangi, they're taking on nobody there. Valentine Holmes and Latrell Mitchell are taking on Viliami nobody and Apisai nobody. And then you go to the halves here with Munster and Cherry Evans. Jeez, they've got some really tough matchups here against no one and nada. Front rowers here, you've got Jake Voyevich, Tina Fasa-Malawi taking on absolutely nothing. And then Ben Hunt in the hooker role. He's taken on someone that is quite special. Oh, no, sorry, he's not playing either. There's nobody there. Good morning, Name Mouse says the field goal order should be Trell Mitt, Holmes, Chinboy, Longneck, Munster. I think Chinboy might be number 1. No, I think Chinboy probably goes number 1. Theophilus says, I get the haka and its context in the Māori culture, but what's the Indigenous war cry for? It just seems like they want a war cry just because the Māori have the haka. I think it's a couple of things. One, it is about cultural representation, which is absolutely acceptable. I really do have to think about my response here, guys, because it is obviously very deeply packed conversations like this. But one, it's about cultural representation, which is acceptable. But it does feel quite odd considering that obviously the haka is so different to what this would mean comparably to Australia. It's very difficult. In an ideal world, yes. But not everything is in an ideal world. Society Salassi says this year in NRL very strict on head-high tackles. Expect the same as this World Cup. I hope so. They should be strict on head-high tackles. They really should be. They should be, because if we aren't strict on head-high tackles in 10 years' time, there will be no rugby league. Because you'll see lawsuits galore from players who have retired from the game and then say, you know what, my life now, I've got dementia, I've got, is it CTE? I now want to sue the game because they didn't look after me properly. And then eventually you'll get enough lawsuits that the game will be like, well, we can't do this anymore because we're always going to have high contact of some sort, and it'll just take one little loser to go through a career and then ruin everything. But for real reasons too. Like the reason I can't say a little loser is because they know how much it's going to impact in regards to stopping of the game. I think this is just a time waiting to happen, though. I really do. I think that rugby in general and life will change eventually over a couple of decades kind of deal, because it's very difficult to see in the long-term future a game like this where tackles are being made and we're knowing a lot more about the human body and head-high contact and whatnot, because you're never going to be able to completely remove head-high contact in this game. So, look, I am scared for the long-term future of rugby league /union, /NFL, American football. Maybe you might see people go back towards football and cricket and baseball in the long-term future. Maybe. And AFL will struggle too. Greg Martin says Fiji have a stacked team full with nobodies. They do. Alright, so we've got 10 more minutes to go here and then we'll jump off, guys. Like I said, tomorrow at 5:30 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Muppet Time, 7:30 Fiji Time, 8:30 New Zealand Time. We will have a video come out of the teams ranked in order of most pressure to least pressure. Jay says hit the like button, subscribe, let's hit 20k. Mate, we are literally less than 100 subscribers away from 20,000. Let's do it. I reckon we can get there before the World Cup. I reckon that we can hit 20,000 before Saturday night when the World Cup starts. I reckon we'll do it. Let's do it. Let's get to 20,000 before the Samoa vs England game. Someone says NRL will be played in Zorball soon. Society Lossie says Adam Ritson is something we never want to see. Absolutely. Star Wars fanboys, it'll be interesting to see how Jake goes in the wing. Yeah, Jake Weaver's in the wing is going to be a big one. That's going to be a big one. Ben Hunt in the centres. Not terribly off it there. But what I'm really looking forward to? I'm looking forward to seeing Latrell Mitchell as a front rower. That's for sure. B-Shakes, are you going to celebrate 20k subs? So, I've already told you guys that when we hit 20,000, I'll be buying one of you a membership to your team for next season. Obviously, we'll buy that for you next year in January. But once we hit 20k, so no matter what, guys, I'll be buying one of you guys a membership to your team in the NRL next year. Or if an English fan wins it, Super League, or if someone wins it elsewhere, we'll sort something out. But the fact of the matter is, I want to encourage you to get out to support your local league. So, once we hit 20k, we'll be giving away a membership to your rugby league team of your choice for next year. Noaka21 says, when will the lineups come out? I'm not too sure. The only one that's come out for Australia. I thought there'd be some more tonight, but they just haven't. They just haven't come out yet. So, but anyway, guys, I think we're going to jump off for now. Samoa, obviously the clear winner there of the biggest surprise pack in 2022. Papua New Guinea in second, Lebanon fourth, and Lebanon third, and Fiji in fourth. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Like I said, do smack that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new here. I appreciate you for all your support. Obviously, just been kicking back tonight, just chilling out, having a bit of a chat, and had to deal with a few alcoholics and muppets. But that's the fun of it. So, like I said, tomorrow at 5:30 PM, which team has the most pressure going into the Rugby League World Cup? Friday, we've got an A-League stream, plus we'll do something else as well. And it's Saturday, the Rugby League World Cup will start. England versus Samoa. You want to be right here as we get rocking and rolling for an absolute massive, massive, massive World Cup. But alrighty, guys, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.